All right, then. It is time to start the show. Welcome to Roast Mortem. My name is Tom.
I'm a Travis.
I am your Cody for this evening.
And I'm Mike.
Yeah, there's that timing.
There he is. There's the man of the hour.
It's like
How you doing, Mike?
music to my ears when I hear your voices, boys.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Swing low, sweet chariot.
I mean, come on, man.
What?
Make it that easy for us.
Yeah, you're not like it's not actually music. You have a terrible voice, but it gives me the same feeling when I hear a good tune. You know, oh, here's my friends.
Here's a song by a band called Roast Mortem. How was your week, everyone? Roast Mortem. Boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch, boom, boom, ch,
Yeah,
boom, boom, ch.
yeah,
Tell me about
yeah.
your week. Boom, boom, ch, boom, boom,
I
ch.
was doing research this week. Awesome research for an awesome episode we're about to listen to. I've also been working out a lot.
What you doing? Curls?
I'm doing all the body weight stuff, you know, push-ups, sit-ups, some free weights. I'm feeling real good. I've cut out red meat for a little while.
Yeah, good job.
I'm feeling very healthy. Healthy enough where I feel like I can start saying bro.
He's lost to us.
Bruh.
This open casting for a fourth Roast Mortem member again.
All right, bro, just let me do
He's
this
not the
episode.
first Tom.
Let me
No.
let me just do this one episode, okay, man? I'll show you how this goes, bro. New
You're
Tom,
ruined.
new
Ruined.
Mortem. Guy tonight, he's a bro.
Tom got spoiled.
Oh,
yeah.
Tom is like a spoiled milk now. He's all curdled and
He's ruined.
he's trying to get lumpy. I like when things are creamy.
I'm thinking about doing
Smooth.
CrossFit.
And you changed a lot.
Yeah.
Tom, I feel like you've logged more hours in the gym. You've gone on and off your gym things. I've gone to the gym for a little bit too, and I think I sharted myself a few times. How many times have you shart yourself?
None, because I'm not a human waste.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but this is heavy lifting. You know, this is working out. I'm working on my history brain.
Well,
That means it's working, Travis.
I'm glad you asked. I've never sharded myself, as my ass has more retention than a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, Tom shits gravel.
Yeah.
You doing some ass kegels?
Dude, I keeg up and down. I'm doing squats, man. Actually, I just
Kegel
found out I
during
was
the
doing
show.
squats for the first time. I was doing them wrong for the first time in 30-something years.
Yeah.
Someone was just
How?
like, your knee is overextended. You should really pull back on that. And I was like, what is going on here? I am so healthy. I'm learning. So I'm ready to go. I'm psyched.
Cody, how many squats you do this week?
None on purpose. Sorry to say. Just all these accidental squats. Like, is there any Kraft American singles that are in the back of the refrigerator? Those kind of squats.
I feel
Those are
you,
good.
man. Those are great squats. Real deep.
Yeah.
deep
Those are
burn on
critical squats.
those. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it says
They add
vegetable
up.
drawer on the outside, but maybe there's a Kraft single like that slipped through inside there.
Wait, do you keep
Don't lie
your
to
Kraft
us.
singles in the vegetables drawer too?
No. They get in there sometimes. You know what I mean? When you're in a fucking rush to make a grilled cheese, you knock shit all over the place.
Yeah, or-
Sometimes one or two of those just slip into the cracks.
Right. Well, typically, Cody, correct me if I'm wrong, but in your refrigerator, there is no vegetables.
Yeah, I don't know what like the fucking man is trying to like virtue signal with his presumptuous vegetable drawer in my fucking refrigerator. Like, oh really? It's got an automatic crisping function. Good.
I hope
That'll
this keeps
keep
my
my
Capri
beer
Suns
cold.
crisp.
Yeah. I can't have fucking stale Capri Suns. That'd be a fucking travesty.
Speaking of travesty, what's going on, Travis?
Oh,
What's
you
going
know.
on, Travis Lee?
Oh, I'm trying to think of what's been going on with me. I feel like something happened.
Your city's on fire?
Yeah,
oh
you're
yeah,
out in
my whole
Portland.
city's on fire. Portland's on fire. My plants
How
got.
bad is it?
It's not as bad as my plant's roots. My plant got root rot. Let me tell you, no coming
Wow.
back from that. You can rebuild the Starbucks if someone breaks all the windows, or you can rebuild a Target, but you
Oh, yeah.
can't fix root rot.
Well, I you say there's no coming back from that. I believe there is no coming back from how privileged that sounded.
What about Miracle Grow?
No, the roots are fucked, Mike. Are you not listening?
No, so
Well, yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't know. Maybe I thought it would work.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're out there doing your thing, keep breaking windows. Endorsed by me.
All right,
In Minecraft.
Mike,
Ugh.
What's up?
what's going on, dude?
I mean, a week's kind of been boring. This lady sneezed on the iPad at work the other day. That was pretty funny. And
How many times did you drop kick her?
Yeah, did you wash your hands, bro?
no, I was just like, you got the sign still. You have to touch the
Use
iPad
your
to sign. Like, I wasn't gonna clean it off. I was like, yeah, that was about it. I was like, I mean. I'm sorry, my week's boring.
Yeah.
I had 2 taquitos today. They're pretty good.
You tweeted about that even.
I had
Yeah,
two
they were real good.
I had
I
two
haven't had a good taquito in a while.
Yeah, I had 2 steak taquitos last night. It was my first 2 since the Corongas. Because I was like, I don't know, people are probably like shitting on them while I'm not looking and giving them Corona. But I got my steak and cheese dog. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, steak and
nice
cheese
hot
dog
and
sounds
fresh,
good.
right?
What's that?
They're nice and hot and fresh. They're like so good. But when
Oh,
they're like
no, I
rock
think
hard,
I
they're
think-
terrible.
The ones I got were actually there since the Corona outbreak.
Oh, the rock ones.
Yeah, they're the
Those
rock.
ones are like, they're manageable, but damn.
I think we should start a taquito review website.
Yeah.
Well, first of
Oh my
all,
God.
do you know they're
I'd love
only
to.
taquitos to like redneck Americans? They're actually called like flautas.
Oh.
Yeah, but
What's
no
a
one.
flautas?
Well, the flautas.
A real taquito.
No,
Well,
they're
Like that doesn't
taquito.
come out of a 7-Eleven. Like it's what
7-Eleven.
Mexican people call like taquitos.
7-Eleven, a corporation run out of Japan, made a taquito. The first one to ever do it.
That just means little taco,
Salute
but
to
it's
them.
not even the shape of a taco.
Yeah, a little taco in Japanese.
Taquitos on
What are they
there.
gonna make it 724? You know?
I have no idea, Mike.
It's not prime.
724?
Yeah, so Tom, who is on the Chopman's slab today?
Effortless transition.
All right, bro. I'm great. All right, bro. I'm pretty glad you asked. I gotta slow down. I'm
yeah.
very excited. Talk about this guy. He's a bro. He's a real guy.
Oh boy.
We're gonna talk
word?
tonight about a gentleman by the name of John Romulus Brinkley.
What a fucking name.
Oh, yeah, Romulus and Remus wolf titties.
Yeah,
I'm totally in the dark about this.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
So,
didn't even
too.
tell me his name until like 8 minutes ago.
total disclosure: no one except me on this podcast knows anything about this guy.
Does that make your dick feel hard?
Well, here's the thing, Cody. John Rom was the kind of guy to make your dick get hard. He was
I doubt
the
that,
but
get
let's
you
go.
hard guy.
Oh, I'm already liking this guy. I already like when people make things on my body
Invented
hard.
Viagra?
This
Like
is
I'm
why.
excited he wasn't a raccoon.
This is why I didn't tell you who we were doing tonight, just so I could really catch you off guard. Tell you about a man who knew all the things that need to be known. The dude who knew how to save America from its softness and get it hard. Get all of America super fucking hard. John
I hate
Brinkley
being sorry.
was enough stud to share. Okay?
Well, but wait, would studs need to be shared? Would he be the alpha
Is there a
stud?
stud shortage?
Studs.
Yeah.
Studs get
Just giving out
tired.
studs?
Studs get tired. But if you're a stud like J. Ron Brink, then you don't get tired. You
So he's like
understand?
an ever stud?
Are we roasting
Yes.
a porn star?
No,
John
even better.
Sins?
This is not John Sins, but John Sins
Oh.
probably really looked up to this guy in his research for his current role and
Oh.
profession.
I gasped
American
so
hero.
hard.
Yep.
My family suffocated.
So he's a famous doctor treating honest Americans, just taking care of everyone. He's a radio personality. Everyone loves this fucking guy. He even ran for office once, nearly becoming the governor of Kansas. This guy's amazing. Okay, it's fucking amazing. So
All right.
I'm gonna start talking about this super smart, super nice, very handsome, rich man, John Romulus Brinkley.
How much mayonnaise does he own? First of all, because we're talking about a smart man, we got to see about his mayonnaise reserves. Because if his mayonnaise reserves are low, the economy might dip. You might not have enough mayonnaise in the
How's his
future.
condiment portfolio.
Condiment portfolio is important. Ranch as a little side asset. I mean, we're talking about a smart man here, right?
Pays dividends.
This man, if he chose to be, could have been the Mayo economy.
What?
Ew.
Yeah.
He's
Mayo
that creamy?
cartel.
Yes, that creamy. All right, so obviously you can't have a super stud gentleman without a super stud father.
No,
So-
stud doesn't fall from the stud tree.
Yeah, so I figure I got to introduce this guy. His name is John Richard Brinkley.
Cool.
He's a guy with, probably really masculine hands and just like a jacket that's always about to bust. He's got the machismo,
Oh, yeah.
and he passes that down to his son. He was a medic for the Confederate Army.
Oh, wow. So
he was
sawing foots off and shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I got to save, this guy who's trying to have slaves. It's not very nice, but this is my job, I guess. I don't know.
Old Jebediah got one in the knee near the old hickory tree. Go saw his leg off and throw him back on the front line for them Yankees.
There you go.
That sounds pretty much, that's what he was doing. So this guy, he married a woman named Sarah, or Sarah Sally. She went by Sally, but she was a Sarah. I wasn't correcting myself. So Sally Mingus. So they're all married and stuff, but Sally has a niece that moves into the house named Sarah Burnett. And John's like, I'm going to bang your niece, okay? So,
Yeah.
so now, her dad, John's dad has just now banged his mom, but that's not really his wife. It's like a weird stepmom mother situation. So, Sarah Burnett has John Brinkley on July 8th, 1885, in a town called Beta in North Carolina.
What is this?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. When you're dealing with studs and minguses, I know
Yeah.
everyone knows what a mingus is, but like with a
Of
stud,
course.
it's just like finding a stud in the wall. He doesn't know where his penis is going to land. Might just go in the wrong place. Might hit a stud.
You gotta knock on the wall. That's what you gotta do.
Exactly. So when
Until it gets hard.
it's very hard, Mike. Sometimes you gotta,
Good.
if you're looking for a stud in some drywall, you gotta throw your Sally Mingus on it and see what you come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So John Richard, his wife Sally Mingus, John Rahm's mother, Sarah Burnett, and John Rahm lived in a small cabin in the mountains, staying poor as fuck, probably by choice.
Yeah.
Wait,
John's-
the
Sounds like the
Appalachian
1800s.
Mountains? Where is he?
They're in North Carolina, so this is,
yes.
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
John's mother died when he was just 5 years old of pneumonia and tuberculosis. Twofer.
Whoa.
The family unit then moved to a different cabin where John Richard would die 5 years later, leaving John and his aunt stepmother Sally to fend for themselves.
Did he die like a stud?
Yeah, he died like a stud. His son's 10 years old. He's just like, this kid's taking over for me. He's like
I'm
a
the
salmon
beta now.
stud,
Yeah.
So like, well,
My job here is done.
he surved. He's 10. I'm dying
Yeah,
now.
he just starts disintegrating like a Thanos snap. Just like, I'm out.
I mean, we're talking about mountain folk here. They're probably eating squirrels. They're probably
Buffalo.
foraging for berries. They're probably digging fish out of the dirt with their bare
mud.
dicks.
Yeah, exactly. So now you have
Pooping in outhouses.
that's how
Hell
you're gonna
yeah.
get all those diseases, Mike. So that whole arrangement didn't last very long, as Sally tossed John into some kind of mountainous boarding school where he was taught how to rake leaves and shit, whatever they teach in mountain boarding school.
Raking
Well-
leaves 101.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, sometimes the leaves fall on the rocks that are high up in the mountains, and you must belay.
Science.
That's French. Down to the leaves and rake them up.
Learning everything.
At age 16, after he completed his education, he began working, delivering letters and sending telegrams in Beta.
There's a mailman.
After he figured
Or,
out how to telegraph well enough, he went to New York City to work for Western Union. He hated that
Alright.
shit, so he went to Jersey to work for the railroad. But he left that gig when he heard this, that his aunt stepmom wasn't doing too well, and he wanted to see her through her final days. So she dies December 25th, Christmas of all times. Supposed to be Mary. I guess she's the tree now. 1906.
Oh.
And John had to start all over again. He's like, I don't want to be a fucking stupid guy doing telegrams and working on railroads. I want to be a doctor. He wished he became a doctor because his dad was a doctor.
I'm gonna be a doctor. All right.
Wait, what was he a doctor of? Pussies?
Yes, he had 2 PhDs. It was of pussy and of sawing Confederate soldiers' legs off.
Oh, you have
Remember?
to be a doctor to do that? I just imagine they just grabbed someone out of a... I don't know.
So this might be a theme throughout this episode, but maybe some exaggerated truths on John's part. He's like, oh, my dad was a medic. He's a doctor. That's what I meant to say.
Doctor.
So,
Onion soup.
yeah, you want to help all those sick people. Like, his whole family died. So he's like, I wish I could help these folks. So while in Beta, he met up with his school-time sweetheart, Sally Wyke. And they got married on January 27th, 1907.
Oh, that's sweet.
Very
1907.
Mm-hmm.
Another Sally?
Another Sally. The two were poor and decided that was no way to be. Don't be poor.
No.
Let's be rich, they said.
Yeah.
Sucks.
All right. Yeah. Sure.
So they began one of the finest medicine shows, traveling town to town, putting on theatrical performances, slinging vials and tubes of potions and tonics to all the people that were willing to listen to them and willing to open their pockets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Most of those vials have
One of those
cocaine
people.
in them, right?
If you're lucky.
Snake oil?
Yeah, snake oil, Mike. Snake oil is nothing.
Yeah.
Like cocaine is
It's
good.
a placebo stuff, right?
Yeah, they throw a little they put some
Like trick
cherry
people into
juice
buying
and,
it.
yeah, that's it. That's the game. You don't there's no proof or anything. It's just like you say it's a cure-all. You're flim-flam.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Good
like
stuff.
you go to the doctor and
Must work.
yeah, it's like if you went to the doctor and you're like, I don't know, my tummy hurts, and he just like makes a
Just
Shirley
gives you
Temple.
an onion.
He makes
Just gives
you a
you an
Shirley
onion.
Temple, and he's like, it'll be good. You're gonna like it. It's gonna make your stomach better.
You gotta be
That
good.
would help.
Anyway,
Pats you on the head.
That's a $35 copay.
in Knoxville, Tennessee, he met a dude named Dr. Burke, who was probably a PhD in literature or small rocks.
Yeah. All right.
Dr. Burke had this shop where people would come to him and say things like, my dick is too soft. My wife's going to leave me. The shaft is like a flat, it's like a flat egg noodle with the tip of a raspberry covered in motor oil. Doctor, please help me.
Verbatim, the words of a man with ED.
Right. So
Please help.
Dr. Burke and Brinkley got along just fine because Dr. Burke was like, I help guys with shitty cocks. And,
Penis.
and
Yeah,
Brinkley's
shitty
like,
cock.
well, my dad's a stud. I'm half stud. So they decided to hang out for some time, and he eventually started working with him at this. It was a dick museum. It was a syphilitic dick museum that this Dr.
Cool.
Burke was running. So
What?
There's like pickled wieners
Oh, that
on the
sounds
shelf.
pretty neat.
yeah, like there was all these displays
Whoa.
of like, this is what happens if your dick is bad with syphilis. Here's the first month, the second month. It was a whole museum of
cutting out
just
so
different stages of dickisms. And this
I
was,
want to
field
go
trip?
with this.
Field trip.
I would love to go to this too. Apparently, they were very popular at the time.
Oh, wow. Why aren't there more? We have the stupid one in New York City, the Museum of Sex, and there's shitty bouncy poops. I want to see a fucking rotting dick in a jar.
You don't want to see boobs?
No, but like the bouncy castle full of boobs, like I don't know, like why? What?
I don't know. Either well, this was meant to scare the people. The museum was free.
I'm
It-
intrigued.
Yeah, I'm not scared. I'm not.
Right.
My dick's not gonna look like that.
So a
I got
guy
the
would walk
smart
in
boy.
there. A guy would walk in
Not
there and he goes,
selling.
"Oh man, it's pretty crazy." And they go, "Well, you just walked in. You should go to the back of the museum where they show the worst dicks."
Yeah,
by
like
the
the
time
vats.
I
they're
want to
back-
see that.
Yeah, by the time the guy's in the back of the museum, he's just taking vials of penis medicine, like left and right, emptying every pocket, just like give me all this penis medicine.
Oh, he's
He's in the
fear
gift shop.
I had a friend that went to the Bodies Museum. You remember when that was a thing?
Oh, I went there.
Yeah, I went there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he went there, and there's like the the exhibit where they show like this is your lungs when you smoke cigarettes, and it looks like
cigarettes.
looks like a grape,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like a shitty grape,
Yeah.
or a raisin.
Yes.
I guess that's a shitty
And a
grape.
place to
grape,
donate
right?
your cigarettes afterwards.
Place to donate your cigarettes. He went in and he just like reached into the donate your cigarettes and just filled his back.
Free cigarettes.
He's like, fuck yeah.
It's amazing. It's smart.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, dude, free
That's a
cigarettes.
smart idea.
They're not saying who they're
Thanks, Bobby.
donating
It's
it to.
expensive.
I don't trust.
Yeah.
I think they were
charities
donating
like
it
that.
to the
Your body,
garbage.
your choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, garbage. So keep in mind, around this time in America, medical science was a giant joke. The kind of joke that would be something along the lines like this: you go to the hospital because you broke a toe or you have a
Fuck.
headache, and the next thing you know, you're sharing a hospital room with a kid named Arthur who's got rickets and won't shut up about it. And for some reason, you die because you were fed tainted donkey meat because as a cure for your headache, the doctors gave it to you. Now you're dead. And Arthur gets to tell the tale over and over again to his new roommate because once you're in the hospital for rickets, you stay there because you're no help to dad if you can't work the field. Do you know what I'm getting
No.
at? Like,
Shit.
do you understand what I'm saying with this?
It's fucking shit.
It's bent up legs.
Oh, bent up legs? Oh, God.
Yeah, they're just shitty legs. Terrible
Fucky
thing
leg.
to have.
So, like,
That sucks.
Mike, you ever been to Subway or Jimmy John's?
I'm in a Subway.
Yeah.
A bunch.
So you go there, and instead of getting a foot long, I take your foot long and I
Yeah.
step on it. And that's what your legs look like.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what rickets are.
well, I didn't ask for that.
Don't worry about it. God didn't ask. Wait, you didn't ask God to give you rickets.
At least get my soda.
Right. No one wants rickets at this time because then you end up in a hospital. And nobody wants to go to the hospital because you just died in the hospital. America was ready for miracle cures and alternative medicines. The guys
Yeah.
traveling with midgets and world-class federals or dudes with dick museums were as good as anybody.
Yeah, still true today.
Yep.
Reiki.
You're so angry about Reiki.
I hate Reiki. I hate Reiki. Just because you have magic fucking hands that you don't even touch my body. It's not even like a chiropractor who's fucking your back up and saying it's good. You're just like touching the air around me and then asking for $100.
Well, I mean, some people just need to have the air around them touched, dude. Maybe it's a sensation.
Yeah.
me sweep your aura.
More people need to get actually touched. We need to get more tuggies. You know, that's how you get the venom out.
I agree wholeheartedly,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm pretty
same.
sure that our dude, John Brinkley, would agree with that. So now, by 1908, he and Sally had these two kids, and they got another one barreling down the cervix, so John was ready to go straight. No more of this song and dance to sell nerd ropes to farmers' wives. John had his fill of dishing out Dr. Burke's cock meds and decided to move up north to Chicago.
Hey.
The American Medical Association, or the AMA, was located there, bringing in some of the world's finest medical practitioners and educators to that city. John enrolled in the Bennett Medical College, which was basically the Art Institute for Medicine and nowhere near the finest.
Art Institute of Medicine?
You got it.
Yeah, you know what Art Institute is, Mike?
You paint as a doctor or something?
He's getting
like
it.
that?
You're getting it. That's it.
All right, well, those of you at home, it's not that. If you don't know what Art Institute is, think DeVry.
Oh, so it's like online classes?
It's bullshit. It's like you're not really getting
Phoenix University?
Phoenix. Yes, that's a good one.
All right.
All right.
Trump-
So to be fair,
Trump
it wasn't the worst school in the area. It did not subscribe to some of the period practices like bleeding and mercury treatment. It actually
Ooh.
had foregone that, which was better than most. But as for the rest of their science, it was just like, yeah, put rice on your head for a day, and that leg's gonna be fantastic.
Well, right now we're what, turn of the century? So isn't all the rage like hydrotherapy? Right? We've talked about that a lot, right? I'm sure they're like, I don't know, we just put this guy in a tub and then we put some mercury in there and we boiled him. And now he's great.
As good as new.
There was a lot of that back then. You're not wrong.
That sounded promising.
It does sound promising, right?
Hot pocket treatment.
Back then, I would have believed it, honestly.
You almost believe it now. Don't lie.
A little bit. Sounds kind of nice. Like being in a hot tub with like
I want to be
mercury.
Mike's doctor and like just ask him to do weird shit every time he hurts himself. Like he'll have a concussion, and I'll just be like, eat 13 radishes in a minute.
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt him, but you're gonna make him shit out radish.
Feel better. Yeah.
We should make a reality TV show where we're just pretend doctors.
Ooh, like Impractical Jokers,
It's like
but Impractical
Scrubs,
Doctors.
but
Yeah,
funny.
but like it's kind of like that, but people like get seriously hurt. But it's okay because it's reality TV.
Right.
Hey, you do it live at a hospital.
Yeah.
Half of the bits are just us walking into a room with someone who has a compound fracture and throwing up on the ground and leaving.
tapping a clipboard and throwing up.
What seems to be the ball?
Why do you have 4 shins?
Oh my god.
Anyway, while going to school, he worked punching in telegraphs at night to support the family. He began drinking, and he worked hard, and he drank more. And in Chicago, drinking was the shit because the water there was actually tainted by the livestock industry and caused all kinds of diseases. So everyone drank; it was normal, but he drank more somehow.
So the cows be poo-poo in the water. And the water is no good, so you gotta drink beer and liquors. I'm putting it for the people out there
safe.
so they understand
Safe.
when you say tainted, what they know.
It's
Amen.
cow tainted.
Amen, bro. I cannot argue
but
that.
it's pretty gross.
All right, bros. So Sally saw John turning into a crusty booger of a man and wasn't really into it.
I see.
She left him and
He's
returned.
got to be a doctor, though.
Well, here's the thing, John. I just called you John, but you're Mike. I'm reading about
It is
John.
Mike, right?
Excuse
How
me.
dare you?
So she left him and returned several times. They had a really shitty relationship. He was a drunk bastard and quit school just a year before graduating, claiming he didn't have the money to pay tuition. So at this point, Sally is back briefly. So he packs them all up and moves them to North Carolina to work as a unlicensed physician.
Dude,
What could go wrong?
Nice. Those are my
What could
favorite.
go
Who's
wrong?
checking?
have you ever passed
You
a
know?
strip mall and it's like dentistry, but it's the same signage that like the Chinese food shop beforehand owned?
Yeah, it's like next to the Foot Locker.
Right, like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Those are my favorite.
Or it's the only
places.
store in the strip mall?
Yeah, favorite places to go. Yeah, we'll pull the fucking tooth for like $30. Why not? I want more unlicensed doctors. That's our.
Yeah.
We don't need socialized healthcare. We just need more unlicensed doctors.
I went to get a
Yeah,
crown
street
filled,
pharmacists.
and I got a mouthful of baby corn.
5 stars.
Yeah. Oh, doctor, I think I cut my hand open. It's bleeding and everywhere. Put this cream of spinach on it, and you'll be fine.
Thanks, delicious doctor.
From Panera.
Wow, I feel so much better.
The doctor was actually the Green Giant.
Oh.
He is tall. Anyway, he moved the family a few more times. New York, Chicago. Then Sally had too much of this fucking stud and decided to leave him, taking the kids. Probably for the best, you know, because John's a lot of guy to share. Let him go. The two didn't bother getting divorced or anything. They just called it a day. And John went back to Chicago trying to be a doctor. Hard trying.
Hard try.
He's almost there.
Well, he's in Chicago.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a year away from graduating, right? You said?
Well, Mike, you know what? You have a point because that's the logical way to look at this, but we're gonna throw some logic out the window for the sake of time on this because it's a long
well,
script.
now he doesn't have a wife and kids another. He's got more time.
Yeah, well,
to study.
I'm talking about our time because I have a huge script in front of me, and we are.
Oh, sorry.
And we are we have 10 more pages. I just got through 2. So, oof.
Dear God.
So, in Chicago, he met his next business partner, a one-armed man named James E. Crawford. The two borrowed some money from some less than savory characters and opened up a shop down in Greenville, South Carolina, called Greenville Electromedic Doctors.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crawford went by Dr. Burke, to help the image and to steal some valor from John's old friend with the Syphilitic Museum, who they visited on their way to Greenville.
I'm this guy now.
Well, it kind of works because if you have a trusted name in one city and someone tells you about it, franchises were hard. You could have two Burger Kings that are totally different operations. One could have Whoppers and the other one could have shit burgers.
Why Hungry Jack's exists in Australia.
Exactly. Franchising was a new thing in America.
Wait, what's a Hungry Jack and where can I get its burgers?
In Australia. There was already an establishment in
McDonald's?
Australia called Burger King before the franchise got there. So Burger King has to be called Hungry Jack's in Australia.
Whoa.
They use the same font and logo and everything. It literally just says
Really?
Hungry Jack's instead of Burger King in Australia.
Wait,
It's like-
Same logo?
It's
Yeah,
close,
just
yeah.
not the name.
isn't that the same thing with Lowe's and Walker's Crisps?
Yes.
Lowe's,
Walker
no,
Crisps.
Lay's.
Lay's
chips?
Lay's and Walkers, not Lowe's.
Yeah, Lowe's is paint.
that's where you
but
buy
I
lawnmowers.
usually like to eat paint instead of the chips. Paint chips are great.
Well, paint
dude.
chips, they're delicious.
And I think, Travis, you and I once did a commercial for Caesars, but when we did it for Canada, we couldn't use their catch line, Pizza Pizza, because there was already an established Canadian franchise called Pizza Pizza. So for the Canadian version, we literally had to say pizza twice.
Yeah, that's the stupidest catchphrase. Pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza twice.
Yeah.
Well, either way, so it happens here in America today. It happens internationally all the time. Look at Rallies and Checkers. That's the same business. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
That's
about
so
that.
weird.
Or Carl's Jr. Rallies and Carl's Jr. Anyway, they claim to administer electric medicine from Germany that would make people shoot electric Siemens out of their body at dazzling
Yeah.
speed.
Oh!
German
that.
machining, man.
Yes. The patient
cool.
would pay Greenville electromedic doctors a $25 fee. Now that's $700 back then. And John would inject them
Sheesh.
with some water and some blue food dye. Give them a
Yeah.
lollipop and then tell them to go fire off a few test rounds across their wife's stomach and see the kind of firepower they're dealing with.
What?
Whoa, that's all you gotta do?
Yeah, you
Oh
just get a
my!
little blue water shot.
Wait, so we're talking about like Raiden from fucking Mortal Kombat, but with your jisms,
That's what they pitched it as, and I wasn't there.
dude. I guess it must work because I'm sold. Hook me up, doctor.
Well,
I'm gonna try it a little bit.
We'll talk about the legitimacy of this whole thing, but either way, this guy's still a bro. He's on the bros team. You understand?
Yeah, all right.
When people started complaining because they're still barely dribbling little loads out of their skin carrot, and the rent and utility bills start piling up, the partners made a run for it.
Oh,
30 to 40 Greenville merchants were given shitty checks on the way out of town.
Wait, you said utility bills were piling up? Were people
Yeah.
actually expecting to come electricity and power their homes with it?
Oh no, what I'm saying is that
Oh, the
they're-
lights for the practice.
The lights for the practice. It was they were
Okay.
basically there for like 2 months, and they opened up credit lines, utilities being like anything. Because
wow.
back then, if you opened a business, you opened a credit line everywhere and paid them later. So they
Isn't that
just
what
dipped
you
out.
still
on that.
do?
Must've been
Well,
easy
you have
back
to do
then
that through
shit
Visa.
like
There's
that.
a middleman now.
Yeah.
You understand?
Damn, Visa. I just want to shoot electric sperms. What's wrong with the world today?
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Fucking Visa.
Yeah. So Crawford had some friends in Memphis, so the two shot over there to enjoy themselves for a while. This is where Brinkley met his average height woman named Minnie, his future wife.
Awesome.
Not my words, but she had this talent of looking great in one photo and then looking like a gap-toothed hillbilly in the next. This is true. If you Google this woman, you'll be very confused going from picture to picture.
It's all about finding your perfect angle. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, everyone knows it because you go on your Instagram, you go on your Facebook, you're like, let me put the perfect filter, perfect angle. Everyone knows their
Yeah,
angle.
you just morphed your face now.
Yeah, now it's way different. But if you Google Minnie, Minnie Brinkley, Brinkley, and you'll see a
Yeah.
woman who might look attractive sometimes, and then might look like she's going to rip the skin off of your
bad lighting.
shoulders, like some kind of angry baboon,
Yeah, she got some crazy teeth.
right?
Oh my God!
Yeah, I can see it.
Dude, her holding that baby, I think she's going to eat it.
That's fun. John Jr. We'll get to him later. Or John the Third. Anyway, the two wed just 5 days after they met.
Oh.
But technically, John was still married to Sally. In his mind, he's just like, who cares? Whatever. No one's going to find out. So they went on a honeymoon out west somewhere, and John kind of let it slip. He's just like, oh, yeah, I forgot I'm married already. When they returned home, Minnie told her father, and that dude was fucking pissed. And Minnie's father had money, so, like, John's a smart guy. He's just like, go where the money is. That's what a stud does. You know, they find money, they find women.
Stud finder.
Stud finder, yes.
It's like adult friend finder, but for studs.
Right. So just as shit was getting hot out in Memphis and his new father-in-law was about to rip his asshole in half, the Greenville Sheriff Department came to Memphis looking for John.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Now, this is a highly improbable event at the time, as news traveled much slower than any person could back in the day, and rarely would local police leave their county lines unless there was a murder.
Yeah,
I guess there was just so many complaints. He just pissed off so many fucking people.
They used to say that that news traveled as fast as a horse's taint. And let me tell you, it's a little bit longer than our taint, but it's pretty slow.
It's like a forearm. What are you talking
about? It's as fucking fast as the horse, so you could have just left that taint part out of the metaphor entirely.
Nope. That's the phrase. I didn't make it up. I don't know. Probably old Jebediah did. Out on the frontier. The dying frontier.
I think I heard that in Oregon Trail.
Yeah, see?
So John was taken to Greenville jail and charged with forgery and practicing without a license. The police caught his pal Crawford 10 days later, and they were each held on $3,000 bail. Their lawyer got them a deal, and they were able to pay a one-time fee, consolidating the numerous bounce checks, which I think was less than $3,000. No victims of the faulty treatment stepped forward to testify against the legitimacy of the business because it was embarrassing.
Yeah, I was going to say they wouldn't want to do that. Like, oh, this guy promised me a literal wizard staff for a penis, and I didn't get it.
And it's like, I already had a shitty cock, and guess what? My cock's still shitty. No one's going to say that. You're right. So, yeah, no one stepped forward. They basically were just tried for the bounce checks, and it wasn't even tried. They just reached a settlement.
So have you guys returned anything on Amazon recently? How you can just go to a UPS center, right?
I don't return anything on Amazon. I just throw it out. It's also cheap.
So they have this thing now where you can just go to a UPS and just like give them back the product. You don't have to box it up or anything. It's like, it doesn't work. I wonder how many dildos, how many butt plugs someone bought on Amazon that just they're
unwiped.
too ashamed to go return at UPS. Like, I don't know, I got this 7-inch penis and it doesn't fit. Could UPS it back? Return, please.
Yeah, in the similar effect, I firsthand experienced this myself. Like, strip clubs will double charge your credit or debit card.
Oh, yeah.
And hope you're too embarrassed to go to your bank and be like, this strip club double charged me. Like, that maneuver was tried on me once. And let me just tell you, no fucking shame. Like, I went right up to my fucking bank and be like, hey, Titty Bar got me twice. And they were just like, we're on it, sir. And I'm just like, I like this.
That's what America is supposed to be about.
Yeah, that's why you bank with one of the most American companies out there. Like, yeah, Titty Bar, we know it. We love it.
Bank with USAA, man.
So, now, Crawford took care of most of the bill with his leftover money. But, John spent most of his. Brinkley spent it all. So his new father-in-law actually sent him $200 via wire to help him get out of jail.
Send it by wire.
Yes. Now, John knew for a fact that he did not want to go to jail again. And one way he could do this is by practicing medicine legally, as he had tried to do before.
Fuck off with that. What are you, a doctor?
So, off to St. Louis with John to enroll in a medical school. John still owed Burnett Medical College up in Chicago some money, so they refused to send his transcripts. So John did the next best thing and bought himself a shady degree from the Eclectic Medical University for $100.
Wow, what a steal.
Oh,
So what is that back in the day?
That's pretty good.
this allowed him to practice medicine in 8 states.
What were those 8 states?
Sheesh.
Kansas was one for
Oh,
sure.
Is that easy back then?
Kansas.
Yeah, Mississippi, of course, they don't care. That's like basically a medical research lab anyway.
Yeah, thank God for Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about like a place where it's like I don't know. Oh my God, my pancreas is about to explode. Throw that crocodile on the pancreas. It'll get it right out real quick. Get it out real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll rip it right out.
Crocectomy.
John,
Yeah.
I keep saying John. I don't know why. Mike, did you just ask if it was good in North Dakota?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
You're wrong, Michael.
Couldn't be practicing in Butte up there.
What about South Dakota?
Oh,
Possibly. I don't know. That's a great question. Another move he did was finally get that divorce from Sally so Minnie and he could legally marry. I think he pushed for this one pretty hard because Minnie's dad was rich, as I mentioned, and you always want a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Might do that.
Yeah.
And find me a rich girl.
You find me a rich girl while you're looking.
Yeah, if you find
I'll still show his friends.
if you find a nightclub round VIP table of rich girls, let us know. I'll tell my girlfriend to marry one.
Also think an old man that might want to have his pee-pee sucked for like to be on the will. I'll do it. Whatever.
You suck an old man's pee-pee
You
for
just want to be on the will?
Yeah.
Just make a wish right there, Travis.
The make a
Dude,
wish.
What's the exchange?
You might be able to inherit his used toenails.
Yeah, or maybe it's Buick.
I want.
No, I need
ooh.
cash in hand now. I don't need a promise later. If I'm gonna suck an old fucking if I'm gonna suck a flesh prune, I need that money right now because I don't do promises.
And here's the thing, like, old folks might have, like, Confederate money or, like, bonds in a company that doesn't exist anymore.
Dude, but they could have bonds in the Coca-Cola money. I'm just saying, though.
I want cash in hand. I don't want that Cash App shit. I don't want that.
Yeah,
Venmo
50
stuff.
now, 50 later.
No, all of it now.
No.
And then I'll fucking I'll bore you to
I owe
death.
you one.
I'll bore you to death before I can even get down.
Small
there.
bills.
That's a move. All right, so his first general practitioner office was in a small town of Judsonia, Arkansas. He entered the town quite loudly to drum up business. He even rented horses a couple times a week, making a scene and screaming about how how his expert services were needed urgently, and then ride out of town as fast as possible, hoping this performance would give some credibility amongst the town folks, but it didn't.
So what would he do? He would just go behind, like, the nearest, like, fucking, like, billboard and just smoke cigarettes for, like, a week and a half?
It would be like
And
a
then come
day.
back.
It would be like a day where he would just go camp somewhere, like, or come back like 5 hours later. He might just sit, smoke cigarettes and hang out.
It's kind of like an ice cream man.
Kind of, yeah. But just imagine
Except
that scene.
not ice cream.
Imagine like just sitting at your office and doing nothing. You're like, I got an idea, and then
That's
just
probably boring.
getting loud as fuck, and going. I need a horse rental in 5 minutes. Urgency.
Yeah.
I needed.
I feel like the modern day equivalent is any like major corporation's Twitter account.
How so?
It's just like, what's happening in the world today? It's on fire? Okay, cool. Let's just like hashtag all the activism tweets right now. Well, I need something. Release the horses on the internet.
I think that those two ideas are cousins in heart, where it's like it's just showboating, trying to drum up some business. I love the visual of this guy in my head, like him running out of his office when nothing is happening. Go, no, need the horse, and then getting on the horse and be like, "I'll be back. My services are needed direly."
Yeah. I like to imagine him as, like, a floppy Muppet just doing all this. Like,
Like,
horse, please! Yeah,
Picture
that.
him with Tourette's.
So, he then worked as a GP at a meat packing factory, watching goats bang away right in front of his eyes, right before before being chopped
Good
into
stuff.
hamburger.
That
Goats, you
job
say.
sounds enchanting.
It does. Now, the year was 1917, and the Great War was raging on.
Oh,
And
look at
John was drafted to be an Army Reserves doctor. Stationed at Fort Bliss, El
Wow.
Paso, Texas, John claimed in his self-published biography that he worked as hard as 10 men in this role. Those who worked with him claimed that he lay in sick bay for most of the 2 months, moaning.
Yeah. Gold brick it.
Yeah.
Like most champions, the Army gave him the boot.
Oh, little Doc Martin up the booty.
Mm.
You gotta, you know it's a good booting when it hits the prostate just right on the way out.
Oh, doesn't that sting?
Cody, we have
So
to be.
good.
We have to say prostate or cervix legally.
Are
Yeah,
those the same to you?
Well, we
Well-
have to make sure that our entire audience can relate.
Yes, it's not
Okay,
the
right,
same. It's
gooch.
just the boot might enter a different region, and there's no prostate in the other ones. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
put yourself in the opposite sex's head for a second. You can't. You don't know what it's like to not have the
No.
penis. You don't know what it's like to have bobs. You're
No.
a bro,
I do.
bro.
Yeah, Mike knows.
Oh,
I
Mike
do
had
too.
boobs,
know.
yeah.
I know
got
how it
some
feels.
bands.
All right. Well, that's here we are.
Yeah.
Wonder what I have.
So he's out of the Army now. So through some newspapers or smoke signals or tall tales, he heard that a small town of Milford, Kansas, was looking for a doctor.
Ooh, small town full of milfs, looking for a doctor.
Milford? Milford.
What I needed.
So in October of 1917, Minnie and John hauled ass to that dirty little town. John was under the impression that Milford had a population of 2,000, but it in fact had been lost in translation, this population number, and it was actually 200.
How are numbers lost in translation? They're universal.
Well, if I had a 200 person town and I was trying to get like anything, I'd probably fudge the numbers a bit myself.
Oops, extra. Oh, right here. This one is
Yeah.
for the Olive Garden we installed in town. It's not actually a zero. It's 200 Olive
For
Garden.
an Olive Garden with a seating capacity of 140 in a
Oh
town
no.
that has 200 people in it. I like that
And the
idea.
thing is, with like a 200-person town, you run into those things where like the same person has two jobs. So it'll be like the general manager of the Olive Garden is also the mayor, and like the undertaker is also the barber.
Oh yeah, dude, that's what it is. So the town center was 2 blocks long, and the train station was in a goddamn cornfield.
Yeah.
Minnie actually burst into tears upon arriving to this town. This town fucking sucked. But they stayed anyway, because John, he already agreed to do it, and he was like, I got nothing else, and I'm good at running away from things, so if this doesn't work out in 2 weeks, I'll leave.
I mean, you
So
know
John-
that he probably showed up and he was like, the people need me.
So let's get
Yeah.
back to Brinkley. Brinkley shows up in this little town of Milford, and he rented the lower floor of a building, office in front. The two of them slept in the back. They made a little drugstore office, and John made it a point to talk to everyone and go out of his way to be super nice to everybody. It was only 200 people, so his practice isn't going well.
Well,
how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
I
sense.
mean, that's just how many penises are there? I mean, probably half.
Well, I believe that women are born more frequently than men, so that's probably, I don't know.
Whatever.
We're
There's
looking at 104 women.
Yeah, I mean, there's still only so many amount of people that are like, hey, I just need to shoot electric bolts out of my dick.
Bingo. Okay, so then one day, an oafish
Okay.
farmer named Bill Stitchworth came to Brinkley's office.
Yeah.
He's all fat and loose, and he's like, starts talking to Brinkley about how he's got this flat tire on his unicycle. You know what I mean?
No.
Well, his dick doesn't work. It's all floppy. It's a mushy produce.
Oh.
Dude,
you know,
you just hit us over the head with the Cialis commercial. Come on, come on. Oh, gee, Willie. Lucy, my tire's flat. You should probably go to Cialis. And we can sleep in different bathtubs with our face down in the water.
Yeah.
Good night, Lucy.
Yeah.
So John's like, he's like, okay, I see your mushy fucking produce thing. Look, man,
Jesus
I've done
Christ.
all kinds of studies with electronic medicine and tonics. And overall, you're pretty much toast. There's nothing for you, old Bill. I ain't got nothing. I've never made a dick really hard in my life. I've been a flim-flam man. And the story goes is that after the two sat pondering for some time, staring out the window at some livestock, Bill says, man, I wish I had some Billy Goat nuts.
I'm interested. What's happening?
Somehow, this put the idea of xenotransplantation of goat testicles into the nutsacks of human dudes.
Oh my god! This is the best dude ever. This is truck nuts of goat men on dicks. I am amazed. This existed? This is a history?
I'm going to tell you how much this
This is a history.
This is a history. It's a real history.
Oh! Dude!
I'm still trying to grapple with this.
Okay. So there's two.
Goats have big nuts. That's the first thing I've learned in that revelation.
And they fuck hard.
I'm just imagining two dudes sitting on the porch, like watching a lone goat, across the road. He's like, hell, well, John, see them low hangers? See them two bowling balls that are attached by some thin gelatin sack?
That ain't no Ford Ranchero. That's a goat. And that ain't no truck nuts. Them is real organic nuts.
Yep.
So, two stories about how this whole thing gets started. Brinkley said that it was Stitchworth's idea and that he wouldn't leave the office until John agreed to do the operation. The Stitchworths, the entire family, claimed that it was all Brinkley's idea, and he paid Billy hundreds of dollars to be the first patient.
I hate this.
Either way, the operation happened late one night, and 9 months later, Billy had his first child.
Wait.
Hey, congratulations,
No, don't congratulate him. Wait, he had a goat child? Did he have Satan? What is goat balls have goat sesame in them?
Yeah, but it's not about the sesame, it's about the hormones. Stitchworth began spreading the word about his sick new loads, and the other farmers came trickling in.
Wait, there was literally a South Park episode about this.
Is there?
Yeah, where they're microwaving their balls to like get a cannabis.
But that's not for loads. That's just to smoke weed.
I
That's
know,
not
but I'm
loads.
just saying, like, it's like literally one dude gets a goat ball, and he's like, hey, Carl, check out these nuts. And he like pulls them out. Check out these nuts in a totally heterosexual way. Don't worry, I'm not trying to pick you up, but check these boys out.
I mean, as much as I think South Park is a very funny show, I got nothing. They could not write this.
I'm
What I'm
so
about to tell you.
confuzzled right
Okay.
now.
So there's even an advertisement of JR holding the first ever goat gland baby.
What?
And it was,
Still alive today?
what's that?
Is that baby still alive today?
Could
Still
be,
the old man
could be
now?
because they were born.
man?
They were born in
What?
the 1920s, so they might be alive.
That is cool.
They might be 90 something. So,
Gross.
Um,
Even grosser.
so this was great timing for a couple reasons. One is that due to the war, there was a lack of young men in America, and in order to preserve the American way, older men were socially obliged to continue mating.
So
It's not such a bad obligation.
socially
Secondly-
obliged.
Well, that was the truth, though. Back then, they were like, "Oh man, you got some in you still? You got to keep squirting because we got all these men over there dying in France in holes. We got to fill up the economy."
Yeah, fill up those other holes.
French
that are
holes.
Yeah. So, secondly, America had seen so many new inventions over the past 5-6 years. Airplanes, electricity, radio. Why the hell wouldn't there be some science to make their dangling tofu noodle into a piping hot thermos filled with ounces of hot white chocolate? It all made sense. Thirdly, legitimate scientists had begun studying the magic of glands and hormones. The world was ready for the goat gland transplant guy.
No, they weren't. I hate this. The world is not ready now in 2020.
Mike, it could be. I think that's a good question.
Dude, I want goat nuts.
Ooh.
No, you
Well, why don't you hear me out?
Me too.
You might still want goat nuts by the end of this.
Okay, I'm just
I can't
saying.
I can't honestly say it's a bad move.
Wait, but you know what's weird? Hold on. This is I'm right now we're going into the scientific theory zone right now, and I'm talking real. As a man of science, I'm going to talk about real. So if I took your nuts, put them on me, and I got someone pregnant, that's your kid.
Yeah.
So you
kind
could
of.
have ghost kids. Like if you
I
die,
don't even know if that's true.
if you die, oh my god, I want to have a ghost baby.
No, you can't actually do that. There was actually lots of experiments done at this time because glands were kind of the wave of the future through the 20s and early 30s about things that would give people eternal life and all this shit. So there were all kinds of shady experiments happening where people were getting people on death row's balls and throwing them into other prisoners to see what happened.
Really? That's
And
fucked.
the claims were outlandish. He's
fucking
not the
hate
only
this.
crazy gland doctor, but he is the
I
biggest
hate the word
one.
gland. Stop saying gland.
Gland standing.
I think gland
I
is
love
grosser than
glands.
moist.
Moist.
I had a girlfriend
glands?
who hated the word moist, and
They all do.
I don't know. I changed
We've
her
lost
mind.
4 patrons by
Moist
saying
glands.
Yeah, I don't get.
Moist gland.
Yeah, I don't get why
Yeah.
ladies don't like saying moist. Because I mean that's
I've heard it's
what makes
like
you
Moist
aroused. You
towelette.
get
I like
moist.
saying that.
Yeah, you got
Duh.
moist. It's too Jewish sounding. That's why.
I'm moist.
Moist.
the one lady I interviewed said she doesn't like what it does to her mouth when she said it.
Moist.
Makes her moist.
Well, she obviously is handicapped in some capacity.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyway, by mid 1918, Brinkley opened up the Brinkley Institute in the tiny town of Milford, which was, becoming a lot less tiny.
Oh.
He was employing people, and the rich men visiting town to get their cock and balls adjusted were paying into the hotels, restaurants, bars, and whatnot. J.R. Brinkley was bringing commerce into this little town of Milford. The townspeople loved him for bringing in their entire economy. Before it was just farming, and they had 8 corns? What's that gonna do? So he really won the hearts of these, and he really won the hearts of the townspeople during the widespread Spanish flu epidemic in his facilities as well. Now, some knowledge he gained while living in the mountains made him extremely successful in treating that flu. Out of a few of his 100 patients suffering from the disease, only a few died. It was a much lower mortality rate. Sample rate was a lot smaller. Don't know exactly what it was, but either way, the townspeople never forgot that.
Right. So here's the thing. We're talking about Appalachian medicine. There's actually there's medicine books that come from Appalachia. Like you can still get them, and they're weird. They're really weird. All right. Like some of them are I don't know. You could scrape the mold underneath a dead man's taint. I'm using taint again. I'm using taint a lot. And
You're
that
using taint
will
a
work.
lot. Yeah, it's easy to go to.
Yeah, it's an easy one to go to. But here, so I don't know. Maybe in Appalachia there was some you could cure Spanish flu with a wall or something like that.
I
What is happening?
all right. Okay. So he was now the shining star of Milford and started venturing into using goat ovaries for women's needs, not surgery, more in the lines of cream and tonics for wrinkles and saggy tits. The use of goat balls was beyond just a remedy for prong pudding. It was also the cure of emphysema, retardation, hard farts, things like that.
Hard fart.
Okay.
I need that.
Yeah, hard farts.
Hard farts.
Yeah. And he had this pitch that was unlike any other Flim Flam Man's pitch of the market. You see, he would flat out say there's only a 95% chance of this shit working, making him sound more legit than a guarantee. He teamed up with a savvy advertiser named Roy Mosnet to put out the word about his practice. I'm starting to drink too much right now. These words are getting weird. They're getting all fucking soft on me, bro.
Words like to wiggle, man. I'm just saying. They like to wiggle around.
Wiggly word.
Wiggling,
You're
yeah.
dyslexic.
Nah.
Well,
words
still
are
wiggling.
dicks.
So his first advertising campaign gave the AMA some ammo to go after him. AMA, the American Medical Association that I mentioned before up in Chicago.
You mentioned
As
that.
members were,
You mentioned that before, and dyslexia kicked in, and I heard MMA.
so, bro, Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
dyslexic.
We're on
bros.
Spotify too. Whatever, Joe Rogan. Who gives a
Yeah, like
shit?
bros were like, I don't know. You want to learn medicine? Fucking, why don't you learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu? I'm
In the
going
octagon
to
of
heal
medicine.
that shit with my thighs when they're wrapped around your creamy neck.
Armbar. Armbar for the cure.
Arm bar. So basically they gave this advertising that he started doing, gave the AMA this ammo because quacks would put out ads and they were designed to look like legit articles.
Big problem today still.
So the AMA was just like, you know what we're doing? We're going to do no ads for doctors. Doctors are not allowed to advertise. It's got to be word of mouth. It's got to be
Recommendation.
yeah, it's got to be you're working with it's a networking thing with doctors. And I guess that makes sense. They just don't want people like presenting their crazy flim flam shit as fact in newspapers.
I mean,
and getting away with it.
That's what the news should do with BuzzFeed. They should also get together. Be like, we don't want this crazy flim flam garbage.
But no one thinks that's news. That's the difference.
People do.
Everyone
I
thinks
heard them on fucking the other day. People were quoting BuzzFeed.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Brinkley did just that. The one thing that they were like, okay, we got to make sure that this, if a guy advertises, it has to look like an advertisement. We can't make them do that. So no advertising. Just to go over what I'm saying. So Brinkley made an article about himself.
And that's not an advertisement somehow?
Well, because it's an advertisement space, but he made it look like an article. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No. Sure.
He's got
So anyways-
he indents his paragraphs.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, so I'm just rambling about this one point, trying to make it clear. But in reality, I don't really know half of the shit that's going on at this time. I'm doing my best here, folks. So anyway, they sent an undercover agent to make an appointment and check this place out. So the book Charlatan, which was my main source, describes the place something like this. Happy Harry, the bus driver, would meet the groups of patients at the train station. Give him an old wink. Let him know, hey, man,
Yeah.
don't worry. After this trip, you're going to be hard.
Forever.
His wife, Minnie, played this magical hostess, handing out ice cream and flowers and making the men feel okay about getting their balls back into riding condition.
She was showing her titties off too, I'm sure. With that buck,
I don't wanna see
with that
her
buck
titties, dude.
teeth, that buck teeth, titties out.
She's like one of those, Halloween decorations where it's like a painting of a woman and you move it a little bit and it's like a ghost. Like, that's what it looks like. I don't need to see tits on
Oh
that.
yeah,
Whoa!
that's so accurate.
I'm
It's
spooked.
scary and horny, but also my dick don't work, so I don't even know.
Why does that rat skeleton ornament have ears? That's not a bone.
Then the doctor would meet the group of men, have a couple drinks with them, and briefly explain the gist of the process. Then he would...
Oh, the gist.
Oh, trust me, it's just the gist. Then he would take the patients outside to the goat pen, where they would be able to pick the goat that they most associated with.
Oh
Kind
my
of like
God.
a lobster dinner.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah, I was going to say, like the
this is like
lobster.
whenever I go to a seafood restaurant, you're like, Travis, which of these red boys do you most relate to?
They're only red after they're boiled, Travis.
Not reddish.
They're not bright red. They're like dark red. I don't know. Anyway,
Rust.
That's imagine that. Just like instead of delicious buttery seafood, it's your testicles. Sometimes he would even have too many drinks and then just get right onto the operation with the new patients.
Wait, too many drinks?
Oh, because he would be drinking.
Yeah.
They'd be drinking.
So,
they're outside
what
looking
did
at
he
goats and they'll be like, all right, I think you're ready to do it. Let's do it. And-
Did he accidentally put the man balls on the goat once or something?
oh, not exactly, but
Oh, God.
The procedure itself was a sloppy mess, sober or drunk. Sometimes Brinkley would just take a sliver of the goat nut and lay it gently on the lower hanging ball of the gentleman, of course, after he cut the nut sack open. Other times he would just mash up the goat nuts and flick it in there like a booger.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, Tom.
Was there anesthesia at this time?
Yeah. These patients were out. They were.
Oh, okay.
The anesthetic
probably.
game was strong in the South.
Tom, I have some questions. I have some real
you don't.
questions here. I'm not going to make a joke.
Well, maybe I have some answers. Maybe y'all will be able to help.
So
you.
are we just talking about the balls, or are we talking about the scrot as well? Like, is this a goat
Sounds like the
scrot?
balls.
Or is this like...
No. This is
It's the gooch.
the operation never had the scrot on there.
Okay.
It was slice open that fucking ball sack of a goat and grab the cherries inside and then slice open the man and put some shit in there.
Oh,
maybe
God.
one,
But are you
maybe
tying?
some.
Are you
That is
connecting it?
disgusting.
Are you
Well,
connecting-
Cody, let me get to that later.
Okay.
That's a good.
'Cause
That's a very good question.
There's a vast difference of
but-
different.
That is
But
so
also, here's the
wrong.
thing is, like, why would you pick a goat? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bull,
They
right? The
fuck
bull is, like, the masculine macho, like... I know it's a big-ass
Travis,
ball.
The goat was right there.
But, like, you
Travis, these are farmers. Okay, understand this about a bull. A bull only wants to fuck for like a couple of years.
yeah.
When farmers have goats, they're like, oh my God, they won't stop fucking their entire lives.
What about a rabbit? They got smaller ones. You could fit, like, 8 of them in your ball sack.
Well, that's a good point, but also they
That's
come
cool.
too quick. Yeah, so we just do whatever and then shuffle the deck a little bit. Didn't really matter. Get some of that goat ball sack in the sack.
Does he stitch it
Great.
back up?
No, they leave you hanging.
No, they stitch you back.
Ugh.
What? They treat you right. You're,
Ugh.
you're usually there for a couple days recovering. So
wait,
thanks
hold
to
on.
that under-
Professor Tom.
Yeah.
Tom. What?
I'm here.
What is the juice that's in your ball sack?
You mean season or just blood?
No, just in the ball sack. Like the juice.
I don't even know. Cody, do you know just the normal juice of the ball sack?
Is it blood? I don't think it's blood.
I think it's just blood, dude.
water?
I don't think anyone knows, really.
That's a good question.
I
I have
know.
no idea.
This is weird.
I think it's water.
I think it's
You think it's water?
I think it's like
Okay.
jelly. It's like
Yeah. Or
It's an
pee.
Alfredo
Wouldn't that
Parmesan.
be pee?
just pee. Yeah, I mean, I like water better, but pee is it's
Yeah.
Wait, we
Peas
gotta
kept in the
find
ball
this
sack.
out, dude. We're talking about cutting into balls.
Dude, I have okay. Let's revisit that because I have so much to do. I have so much to explain to
all
you.
right.
guys.
I'm curious.
All right, I know, I understand, but I just got a long one. So thanks to that undercover, the AMA now knows the true quackery behind Brinkley. But the public is still game. They like what he's slinging. So Brinkley goes
Good.
on tours of the East Coast talking to audiences about other procedures he's been developing. He claims that he's working on a xenomorphic eye transplant to cure the blind. To be clear, this was never actually tried. He was just a good salesman. He was just, like, oh, there's something else I'm taking. He also had one of them draws, by the way. So if I start doing that every now and then, but listen to his radio show. And the goat gland business was booming. And so was his drinking. Brinkley was a dangerous drunk. He drove all the patients out of the hospital once, wielding a butcher knife and yelling about God knows what in the middle of the night. He had taken an axe to his neighbor's car. And another neighbor had to get a restraining order against him. He bought a bear one time because he was trying to make a zoo in Milford.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
when he was drunk, he didn't like the noises that the bear was making, so he just went outside and
weird.
shot it.
Oh.
Oh, he's terrible. I hate him.
Tiger
now.
He's a nice
But the
guy.
goats-
He's helping balls, dude.
The
One
goats
bear,
make
how many
fine
balls?
noises.
You know.
All right, so here we go. I mean, he's not got a regular job. It's not like he's like, okay, time to go down to the old Walmart and fucking clock in. Like, no, he's fucking cutting into penises. So that guy's shell shocked, right? He's not part of a union. He's not part of
I think
he can't get counseling.
Yeah.
This guy cared so much it didn't matter.
Okay.
Like I said, all this crazy shit that was happening in Milford, and it still didn't slow down the business much. He brought so much money into the town. He built sidewalks. He put in a sewer system. He had electricity installed in the town. So the town people were like, all right, so he fucks up a car every now and then. He shoots a bear that he bought. Who cares, you know?
Free sidewalk.
Yeah. In early 1922, Brinkley received an invitation from Harry Chandler, a real estate mogul, and the owner of the LA Times, to go to LA to perform his miracle surgery on one of the editors, telling Brinkley that if the surgery was a success, he'd make Brinkley the most well-known doctor in America, and if he fucked it up, that would be the end of him.
Oh, so he's about to turn into the
God.
original Dr. Phil.
Kind of.
Fail.
So Brinkley sashayed on his way to LA, and just like today, LA was the world capital for bullshit medicine. Brinkley got himself a 30-day license to practice medicine in LA.
Oh, they have those? They have like 30-day passes?
Yes, they apparently back then they did. So he began slinging nuts. Well, firstly, he blasted a nut into the editor, and the surgery was proclaimed a success a few days later. Then he started slinging nuts into the Hollywood elite and big money investors of LA. Rumor is that Chandler even got himself some nuts too. For perspective on the whole business for you folks, Brinkley had performed his 1200th operation while in LA.
Oh!
Those poor people.
We have all these conspiracy theorists being like, our species has been infiltrated by reptiles. No. The real truther shit is we've been infiltrated by goats.
Yeah, with their fucking shady square eyeballs. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at the goat, dude.
Dude, all right, but hold on. You said you were going to mention, does he attach these balls or throw them in? I'm on the edge of my seat because, like, I want to know who just had a cut off goat ball just like thrown into the mix.
Swimming.
Travis, I promise you, I will get to that.
I can't wait.
That's a very crucial part of my information. But
Oh, Lord.
it's a way down the line.
I can't wait.
So, those of you who feel like Travis and want to know about the actual grafting of the ball, you'll have to hang out.
Fuck you,
And
Tom.
listen to one of the finest podcasts, Roast Mortem. Here we are, right? That's it.
Hi.
We're just Roast Mortem, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So he began looking for spots in LA to open up his new hospital, as Milford was basically still a dirt town. A lot more money to be made in the up-and-coming LA area as well. While he was in LA, Chandler, the guy who brought him there, and him palled around. Chandler showed Brinkley his new radio station that he was building. And this sparked something in Brinkley's bro-smooth brain. Now, back in Chicago, Brinkley had a bit of trouble brewing. While most of the AMA would ignore this goat surgery fella and other activities, Journal of American Medical Association, Morris Fishbein, was keeping an eye on him, taking note, and he started developing quite a hatred for this gentleman.
Let me guess.
He didn't like this quackery.
Let me guess. Fishburne, Lawrence Fishburne.
Fishbein.
Fishburne was was a Christian, and the goat is the devil. So he's putting
Baphomet.
devil's balls into men to make them more masculine, want more fertile. This is Satan infiltrating the men.
You know how sometimes I say things like that in the podcast, and then Cody goes, "Oh my God, Tom, you're kind of right about that.
Yeah.
You're dead wrong."
Dude, no one cared about Satan entering your ball sack.
Cool.
No,
Clearly not, because they were paying to have it done.
trust me, you are dead wrong, but for a very funny reason.
Okay.
Travis, so many of these things are going to get answered.
Oh, this is the most
There's this air of mystery.
anxious script you've ever written.
Yeah, it's up there, man.
It's a good story, right? I was blessed with coming
not,
across this guy.
but
Oh, it's a fantastic
Still anxious.
one.
It's
So-
not.
He had a personal stake in this whole snake oil miracle cure charlatan charade, as his daughter was actually killed by medical advice given to him by a quack.
Hmm.
When Brinkley came to Chicago to sell the medical community on his ideas, he was laughed out of the room and forgotten, but not by Fishbein. Fishbein was no
Wow.
dummy. He saw the money that Brinkley was making and knew the nature of his operation would be shameful for anyone to lodge a formal complaint against. He's just like, wait, you're helping people with something embarrassing? That doesn't leave a lot of room for people to complain about, you know?
Why are you going to be embarrassed, though? I mean, like, yeah, I wanted my nuts to be bigger. Goat-sized nuts.
But, okay, something you have to keep in mind. He's keeping America hard, okay? Let's just say he's keeping America the hardest it's ever been in
Why
his
are
life.
you upset about that?
Because it's not the male's choice to do it.
Oh.
The woman is
It
usually
is.
sending the man to do it,
What?
which is even more
Oh.
shameful than not having a erect, like a real dowel. You know, this is just a
Dowel.
and this is a
So you never get married.
empty stock.
Well,
so it's-
Bert's penis is kind of like a ramen noodle that I left out on the counter. It got a little bit hard because it dried out.
I don't know
so-
enough about bird penis.
Either way, Fishbein, who is a Jew, by the way, which
Sure.
that's some of what Travis was saying before about him being a Christian. So Fishbein just collected his thoughts, took notes, and
Yeah.
waited to strike. So now we have Brinkley. We understand his operation a bit, and now we see this oncoming storm of this brave Jewish man. Brinkley's next blow was from Fishbein, second-handedly though, through the California Medical Board. His application for full-time medical practitioner in California was laughed out of the room by the board, thanks to Fishbein sending information about his practices and telling them to inspect his credentials thoroughly. As predicted by Fishbein, Brinkley claimed to have graduated and taken courses in several schools that had no records of ever having him there.
Oh, good.
Ooh, not good.
I mean, if you have a shady degree, just go with it.
Yeah,
He had the shady degree.
I mean, it's kind of compared to if you're at a block party and you're like trying to hit on this girl, right? Like, oh my god, we're at a block party, and then like later on, after the pie eating contest is done and you've scarfed your face down, she's like, "Well, did I see you up there doing the electric slide?" And you're like, "Yeah, totally." And you're like, "No, I didn't. I was wearing gym shorts and like I was sweating a lot. I'm not gonna do the electric slide. Why would I be moving?"
Yeah, no, that I
That
mean,
was not a personal
I think-
reference
Analogy.
at all.
I
Not a
was there
personal
that
reference
time.
at
I
all.
remember that.
It's fine.
Back to Milford with our boy John, but not without his new advertising strategy he developed, inspired by Chandler's new radio station. Brinkley would acquire a radio broadcast license and would make his own radio station. Now, this is 1922. Radio is very new to the public, and it's not very good. It's pretty much what it is today.
Yeah.
It had its heyday back in the 70s and 60s and all that shit, but now it's just garbage. So Brinkley hired some engineers, and they built him a massive radio station. And while they were building, he went to China to perform his goat operation on some very wealthy Chinese folks, including the would-be emperor of China. Had its political structure not changed.
Oh, well, Chinese medicine, I feel like that's right up their alley. They're like, rhino horn. You put rhino horn in my pee-pee.
Well, Travis, you said it, but I know where you're going with it.
I'm just saying Asian
in
medicine's
19
kind of weird. That's all. Whatever. Fucking cancel me.
Someone cancel him already.
Yeah.
God damn. In 1924, after his tour, Brinkley returned home to his radio station, KFKB, and got to work. His intent was to use the station to provide entertainment and advertise his cock and ball expertise services. Upon returning from his trip, he had discovered a wall of yellow journalism smearing the good doctor's name. So he went on the attack, talking shit about fake news nonstop. That's what the radio station became.
So, wait, we went from a ball man, a man that inserts balls into another man's balls, to now Alex Jones.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Alex
That
Jones
still inserts balls.
Well, yeah, he inserts balls because I know how Alex Jones has children. It's out of his balls.
Yeah, goat balls.
Because he's a man.
He has kids?
You know, he's a crazy man, but he's still a man.
Male vitality.
Yeah, you can't get kids taken away from you in a custody battle unless you have kids to begin with.
Oops. You fucked up, Alex.
The Sacramento Press had been after him, publishing his application of lies. The police department of Sacramento even went to Kansas to collect Brinkley on some fraud charges, but the governor of Kansas refused to hand over Brinkley because he was such a valuable asset to the Kansas economy. Brinkley shifted his story around enough to make it look like he was some kind of martyr on his radio station, and the people liked it. He was a champion for women, claiming that a woman deserves more than her boring, flaccid husband in exchange for her important duties of housewives. Housewiving? Is that a term? Housewiving? I wrote it here.
I was thinking housewifery. Sounds cooler.
Housewifery. We'll go with that. Yeah, they're important duties of housewifery.
So why doesn't he just take a hippopotamus dick and just attach that to where the dick is?
You've already asked the question, why goat? And you're just rephrasing it with a
but we're
hippopotamus.
talking,
You're
right?
like, why
We're
not
talking about
bull?
balls, we're talking about dick. I mean, obviously these ladies back in the 1920s didn't understand the value of bad dragons. But if we had a hero like Jonathan here,
right.
Jonathan?
Dude, Jonathan was the hero. You're exactly right. He was the one telling the women. He was telling them the truth. They were saying these hardworking mothers needed a man to come home to them after a hard, long day of lifting wood, screeching like falcons, kicking down the door with the vigor of Spanish bull, already erect and ready to plow their woman into heavily eye-rolling orgasms 2, perhaps 3 times, then making them a French martini and fixing the goddamn door they just busted down. This tactic worked as most of the patients definitely were put there by their wives.
Tom just sold me in that. Tom came in hot.
I can
write
write
shit.
I can write sometimes. I can't speak.
It's good.
I'm lucky I actually spoke that.
I'm just thinking if I'm putting myself in my shoes of some 20s housewife, though, I'm just saying, like, I just made fucking seven cherry pies because I had nothing to do all day. The kids are in school
all day, just pie making.
and I want to get fucking shafted
That sounds like fun, though.
hard.
Yeah.
Getting fucked and making pies, Mike?
Got to call Jonathan.
Yeah. I'm bad after this episode.
Well, Mike, the thing is, we only do dead people on Roast Mortem Cast. So,
Hey.
have fun finding his phone number.
So then, Brinkley starts making claims about his goat gland surgery being able to reduce prostate size. Something that most other medical associations were trying to figure out how to do. This helped the business and made him a goddamn star.
Well, right. We didn't know anything about what the prostate did, right? Like, we were just like, I don't know.
I'm trying to
feel
pee
good
through
button.
it.
Yeah, I mean, but now we're like, guess what? Men like that. That's an area that should be massaged.
The people at home can't see this, but your backdrop is just 3 jeweled butt plugs right now.
Oh.
It's a great time.
Yeah.
Erogenous zone.
I don't know how to transition from that.
So then he's got this. Let's move along here because hear me out, Travis. Maybe this would be something you'd like. He started a radio show called Medical Question Box. Hundreds of letters were sent to the radio station every day, mostly by women, but some men, asking medical questions. Brinkley would read a few and diagnose the folks on air.
Oh.
Then To go along with this little show, he started the Brinkley Pharmaceutical Association, a network of 500 pharmacists that carried the snake oil that he would prescribe during medical question box. It was the first infomercial.
Oh my
Wow.
God. So this is the...
He's a revolutionary.
He's responsible for that shit.
He is the shit.
So, I mean, God bless his
Man, he
soul,
sucks for
Billy
that.
Mays has to thank this guy. Vince from Slap Chop has to thank this guy when he's beating a hooker. All the bimbos on QVC when they're trying to sell all them stupid ass jewels, they have to thank this guy.
Oh, the sham wow.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you already said Vince.
So,
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was thinking of Slap Chop for some reason first before the sham
It's the
wow.
same guy.
I know, I got confused for a second.
I just want to slap some chops myself. This
love my
racket
nuts.
brought in about $15,000 a week in 1929 money.
Wow.
Wow.
So this dude
I
was
said load
loaded.
weird.
So naturally, when a man becomes loaded, they become a sex icon for women
Yeah.
It's weird.
Or addicted to drugs.
automatically. That's true. Well, when some people started catching on, any complaints that were directed at Brinkley would go ignored, and any letters written to the AMA about Brinkley and his creepy dealings were replied to with news that they couldn't actually do anything because he wasn't actually doing anything illegal at this point. We're still in the wild west of medicine, folks. So Fishbein sees all this money coming in, and he sees all these notes piling up. Hey, I went over there and it didn't go so well. And he's furious. Fishbein is like, not doing it. He had doctors writing Fishbein telling him about patients who were needlessly suffering because they had taken Brinkley's advice and his drugs, and now they were in much worse condition. So, Fishbein sprung into action again. He started by getting Brinkley's UK medical license revoked. That was easy. It was just a
Wait,
letter.
he had a UK medicine license?
Yeah, he was touring around the world and
Oh.
stuff. China wasn't his only stop. He was all over the
Okay.
place. Sorry if I didn't mention that.
Okay, so like these guys up in Scotland were like, I drank too much iron brew. My penis cannot get hard.
Is that what happens?
And he's like, I got you, dude.
Happens
I
to me
got
every
you, dude.
time.
Scotland, lots of goats. I know about Scotland. We're going to put them inside of you. And here's some cream for it.
Yummy, yummy. So Brinkley
Sounds
starts
good.
making fun of Fishbein on his radio station daily. That's how he counteracts. He's just like,
he's a
I'm making
troll?
money. You're not. You're barely a doctor. You're an editor for a doctor's paper. Who gives a shit
This
about
sounds
you?
like a
back and forth.
YouTube like Keemstar kind of beef.
Don't
Yeah.
even. I know nothing.
I don't care. Back and forth, Brinkley and Fishbein throwing mud. Brinkley's giant radio audience stood by their testicle king.
Okay. Weird.
In 1930, KFKB was the most popular station in the United States, and Brinkley was one of the richest doctors. So Fishbein approached the
Wow.
Federal Radio Commission and the Kansas Medical Board to see if he could stop this dude from slicing more nuts open.
Ugh.
So, the Federal Radio Commission and the Kansas Medical Board separately took him to court. I'm not going to go into too much detail on these court
So
cases, other than
The jury was like, did he get bigger nuts? Yeah! Yana, point
Can you-
proven.
well, they were more
Exhibit A, bigger nuts.
They were not they weren't juries of the peers. They were more like hearings.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you have to be granted licenses. So it's whether they're revoked or not. So, like I said, Brinkley had these. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but Brinkley had huge amounts of people following him to the courthouses and where the hearings were. He didn't really count on all those people whose lives he fucked up with careless operations to show up. And just in case you were wondering, he fucked up a good amount of patients. He paralyzed people.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
People were covered in
Yeah,
sores,
jeez.
even some dead folks.
Oh.
He claimed in the
Wow.
case against the Kansas Medical Board, no one ever died in his care, but he had personally signed several death certificates at his hospital.
Oops.
Wow.
Those are for the goats. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Shh. This
So-
one's name was Billy.
Some dirty goat nuts.
Kansas Medical Board took that fucking license away. The Radio Commission took away his broadcast license as well, on the basis that the Medical Question Box series was contrary to public interest, and he played way too many commercials, because apparently they had a rule about how many commercials they could play. His shit was 90% commercials for his stuff. Technically.
Dude, that is my favorite. That's like
Just brainwashing
that's like
people.
watching TV. You know, who does that?
Or like
Yeah, basically.
Right.
just constantly like Rage Shadow Legends. It's like, shut up already.
So he's going from Dr. Phyllis to Howard Stern. Real quick.
He's both at the same time.
Yeah.
He's both Hal
That's pretty
Stern
neat, though.
and Dr. Hal Phil. So Fishbone is feeling real good about this. He's like feeling really Lexington Steel, much harder than Brinkley could have ever made this guy. And Brinkley is feeling kind of like a Woody Allen type. He's pretty upset, but Brinkley isn't going to go anywhere just yet. He's got other moves up his sleeve. In fact, this donkey dong is just getting started. Now, Brinkley decided to run for Kansas governor. Hooray! 3 days after losing his medical
not?
license in 1930 of all time.
Yes. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Good
Not
timing.
anymore.
This is like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
Yeah. So his thinking was that if he ran for governor and he won, he'd be able to put whoever he wanted on the medical board and resume this crazy cash-making operation. But he couldn't get his name on the ballot because it was too soon before the election. So he became what's known as a write-in candidate.
Ah.
And this campaign was no joke at all. In fact, there were a few campaigning tactics adopted from his campaign that are still used today.
Wow.
He invented the modern campaigner.
Whoa.
To make up for lost time,
He traveled?
Brinkley, he traveled all over Kansas. He bought a plane from alleged child killer Charles Lindbergh and flew from city to city, drawing crowds no other governor had ever done.
This is a turn that I did not think was happening in this script. From goat ball injections
Yeah, me
to
either.
the modern day fucked up campaigning strategies.
You're going to tell us this guy was the sixth guy to walk on the moon, too, later on, aren't you?
Just wait for it, Cody.
Sure.
It gets.
I'm
It
waiting. I'm
gets.
patient.
He used all the shit that he learned from being a on-the-road snake oil salesman, like song and dance and chickens on small bicycles, to drum up excitement. He had the talent of the his radio station, KFKB, on the payroll. The Kansas people in general did not trust the government at all, and so they saw Brinkley as a persecuted man who was standing up to bureaucratic mobsters. He was a people's person. And his rally showed it, man. He traveled with his family, Minnie, and his little son, Minnie Him, which is Johnny Boy.
So,
Does
yeah.
he have goat nuts?
Well, he doesn't have. He claims to not have goat nuts, and he made this child on his own, without the assistance of nuts.
His irises were round, not square.
Yes, dingus. He was going to win the state, and the Republicans and Democrats did something unheard of to make sure that didn't happen, which was work together.
Ah!
The party leaders paid a visit to the Attorney General, William A. Smith, with their problem. And he came up with a solution. He changed the rules for write-in ballot polling. See, the way ballot write-ins worked is that the intent of the voter is all that matters. So, for example, if I wanted to vote for Travis Lee in my write-in vote, I could write anything that implies his name. Tarvsy T. Lee T-Boy, Titty Lee, so on.
All right, so
If the intent is obvious, then it gets
yeah,
counted.
so everyone on in November, you're gonna go to the polls. You're gonna put Travis Titty Boy, and they're gonna know.
Yeah, what party?
You got my vote.
What's your party?
Um,
Yeah,
Mike's
what's your
party.
What's your
penis
platform?
out party.
Well, if you're a write-in, you don't have a party.
Well, yeah, but
you're an independent who didn't get their name on the ballot.
But if I had to have a party, it would be the penis out party. We're all about having a fun time. It's a party. That's our catchphrase. It's the party.
It's a real party.
I love how the initials of penis out party are just pop.
The pop party.
So, to make sure that this write-in shit did not work for Brinkley's, work out for Brinkley, they changed the rule for this election. So, to vote for Brinkley, you'd have to write J.R.Brinkley, and any variation of that would be thrown out. No doctor, it must have the periods, no John. In short, on election day, Kansas tossed out around 40,000 votes for Brinkley. And he still came close to winning.
That's fucked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God, dude.
Jesus Christ.
Thank God for greasy political gerrymandering.
Dude, all
Yeah,
right.
right?
See, at first I'm like, this guy's weird. He's putting fucking balls in balls. But now I'm fucking like, fuck yeah, stud bruh. I want you to win the election, dude.
Yeah, dude. He's gonna if he's gonna give you an erection, he should win the election.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Is that on a fucking button or something I can buy?
I don't know. He
The
should
bumper
have had
sticker.
me on the team.
You know, like Raucous Dukakis?
Yeah,
Like election for erection?
Tippecanoe and Tyler too.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Now, his next move was even bigger, somehow. Unable to practice medicine in Kansas, he closed up shop and then moved to Del Rio, Texas, close to the Mexican border.
Hmm.
Mexico was where Brinkley decided to put his next radio tower. He was already tired with the U.S. federal law regarding broadcast standards, and the fact that he could only use a 5,000-watt broadcast tower pissed him the fuck off.
He wanted more bass, dog. He wanted to be like,
On the juice.
And the timing was perfect because the U.S. had just divided up radio frequencies amongst Canada and themselves, and they left Mexico with nothing, making the Mexican officials and Brinkley a perfect match of people who had been fucked by the American government. So they gave Brinkley a license for a 50,000-watt radio station, and he started construction immediately.
Nice.
After some time, the government allowed him to upgrade to 150,000 watts. Keep in mind that the most amount of wattage that an American is allowed to have is 5,000. And within a few months, he had grown to a 1,000,000-watt radio station. This was now the most the most powerful radio station in the entire world.
Tom.
It reached.
He's making people sterile now.
Oh yeah,
Tom. I'm gonna pause
Yes.
right here. Is this the
Okay.
dude that invented FM radio?
no, this is AM.
This is still AM? Okay, all right. I
Yes,
was like,
and
I
he's
was gonna get my
blasting-
mind blown again.
No. Oh, that would have been pretty cool actually if he made that move. But no, he just hired a bunch of AM guys. So the new radio station XER is what you would call a border blaster, as it's within Mexico, but it could be received through the entire United States and 15 other countries.
Whoa!
That's obscene, actually.
Oh yeah, 15 other
Are
countries.
there even 15 countries?
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
The signal was so strong that locals could hear it in their bed springs.
What?
That's cool.
Oh, I'd hate that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It said that Russian spies actually used the radio station to learn English.
Oh my
Nice.
god!
Oh, is he still talking about his goat balls on his radio
Of
station?
course he is. He's slinging all of his charlatan medicines, and
yeah.
he is lined up.
So
He-
the KGB is just really confused right now.
he's doing hundreds of goat
They're hyped.
slices all day.
All right, so we are the KGB here, and we like to learn English. Goat penis. Everyone,
And now,
all of you say
Yes.
goat penis.
Good penis,
Ah.
comrade.
so now he's not regulated
dick.
by the U.S. government. So guess what he's doing? He's selling more advertisement space because before they were like, "Oh, you're advertising your own product too much." They can't. He wasn't allowed to take money for that much advertising. Now he could take all the money he wants.
Yeah, so
I think he was charging like $1,700 an hour for radio advertisement.
yeah, now Woodbury Cream could advertise on his product.
Ah.
Yeah. So, a lot of talent started going there because this is the biggest radio station. You had a lot of hillbilly music folks, like the Carter family, one of my favorites. They really kind of started there. Del Rio became known as Hillbilly Hollywood, and Brinkley made country music into the popular music it's known today.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. Like the Grand Ole Opry was operating in the 1920s, but their radio reach barely made it outside of the lower states. They were still in Oklahoma, Texas. That's really it.
Yeah. So now when you see like weird northern English folk that are really into country, it's because they were just listening in their bed springs.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Couldn't turn it
I'm
off.
just trying to fucking
No off.
sleep.
There's no off
Oi,
switch on the
just
bed.
trying to fucking sleep.
So Brinkley had built a mansion a few miles away from his radio station, but on the American side of the border, because he was a true blue American. He even ran a private line from his house to the station so he could broadcast his crazy talk while not even leaving the house.
His bowel movements.
Good.
He had some plans to resume his whole goat gland operation even bigger in Del Rio. I think he rented an entire hotel and took it over and started bringing in more people. Fishbein went to Texas State Medical Board to get Brinkley's license pulled, but they refused as the Great Depression was in full swing and any money brought into Texas was good money. So, while doing all this operation down in Del Rio, Texas, he ran for governor in Kansas again, as he still had a house there.
What the fuck?
He used the radio station as a speaking platform and a campaigning device. He came in second. He was kind of half into this one, you know? He didn't go as hard as he did the first time. During that campaign, though, he invented campaign trucks. Trucks with loudspeakers that would go town to town into the centers with a whole show and a pre-recorded message from Brinkley with all the talking
So
points.
you said
Remember,
you said campaign truck. I heard Vangabus.
you heard correct.
Checking.
Yeah. Remember, this is 1932, so when you heard an amplified noise of any kind, you stopped what you were doing and you listened. So not only was this the invention of the campaign truck, but it was the first recorded commercial.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess they all were live.
Everything was live before. So he was the first guy who was just like, I'll just throw it on a record and then put it somewhere.
Wow.
The states had it out for Brinkley, so they made a law making it illegal to pass signal through a current across borders via wire for broadcast. No more recording at home directly to the station. Oops, doesn't matter. Brinkley just invented the pre-recorded commercial and was able to just do this anyway via Mexican runner.
Oh. Wow.
Loopy holes.
So, Mexican interference?
Well, we'll find out. Yes. Now that he was really done with Kansas and politics, he packed up the rest of his things that he had there. He demolished all the buildings that he had and moved the practice to full-time in Texas, taking half of Milford with him.
Oh.
The Del Rio people were psyched. They wanted some of that goat ball money, and Del Rio began to flourish.
It's so hard to keep remembering that he's the goat ball man, because now he's just doing everything.
No, I've remembered the entire time he's Mr. Goatball.
Well, you're smarter
It's okay.
than I am, Cody. I don't have a good memory. I'm just thinking he's a politician that's reinventing America, but he actually, deep down inside, he's just thinking about what type of ball sack he could impose on you.
Yeah, impose on my balls, please. In 1934, the Mexican government had some mixed feelings on the radio station. It had gained them enough negative attention from around the world, and they decided that they had enough payback on the U.S. and called it a day. So they revoked Brinkley's license, even though he tried to bribe them with bags of cash, which usually works in Mexico.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
But Brinkley loved to hear the sound of his manly voice, bro. He was just like, I need this radio going hard. So his move was to buy out little other border blasters. Just hop along. And before the Mexican government knew he was there, he was already on to the next one.
Oh, okay. Guerrilla border blasting, if you will.
Right. And while he was doing that, he came up with a plan with his lawyers to take the Mexican feds to court because they were actually breaching a contract and saying that they were going to take away his license. You see, he was savvier this time. He wanted it on paper.
Ooh.
So he went right back to broadcasting at his 1,000,000-watt radio station.
Good for everyone.
So his radio game
Nice.
is on point. His hospital services are booming in Del Rio. He's sending out literature in his practices. He's really heavy on the whole mail campaigning for both his practices and the political shit. He's got about $12 million in the bank during the Great Depression.
Wow, that's a lot of skrill.
Wow.
You could probably
Damn.
buy like
Right.
You could
That is
probably
a
buy
lot
like
of
a bathtub full of gack with that amount of money.
Maybe two.
A bunch of bathtubs, yeah.
He wanted to streamline his enterprise, though. The goats were getting in the way. So he kind of stopped dealing with goats.
Oh, you can't forget your roots,
But he doesn't give
man.
up on ball slicing altogether. Hear me out.
Okay.
He just doesn't
Fair.
want to slice goat nuts anymore. So his new game is giving vasectomies. And while he was giving the vasectomies, he would add a little chemical called mercurochrome, which made the urine a weird color for a couple days. Science, it worked.
Awesome.
It didn't do anything.
Any medical benefits though?
No, it's just a
No,
vasectomy.
well, it's
You
like,
can fucking
hey,
then not have
If I'm gonna have
extras.
a vasectomy, you better sound me with a sparkler when I'm done.
That's horrible.
Oh.
Travis,
Dude, this is a
you're off this episode.
Congratulations!
Be quiet.
People listen to this
yeah.
show, you
People are like,
fucker.
"Hey, congratulations! You can't have children anymore." Sparkler sounded into your tip like American freedom.
Sounded.
America.
My right.
So he says it has the same effects as the goat transplant, and if someone really, really want to be part goat, if someone really, really wanted to be part goat, he would perform the operation, but at an obscene price. And there were very wealthy people who were like, "No, I still want to be goat, dog. I don't want to just get snipped." So he adopted somewhat of an airline model for the prostate softening treatment that he had created as well. So there was a
Fuck.
economic ball reach around kind of thing for $150, a premium economy nut jabbing for about $750, and the businessman reach
Wow.
around was $1,000.
Are you really going to cut corners when it comes to a testicle operation?
Well, it's more. This was a service they did to make the prostate loosen up, because you see, he had other ventures going. He had opened up an entire hospital for cancer treatment, which obviously everyone died at. But
Dude, sometimes you just gotta get up in there and just milk that prostate, and that's what this man is doing.
Yeah.
As an American man, he's making that pus come out of that butthole.
he's 7% milk.
Gross.
So,
Had to be done.
guys, I'm gonna. Can you guys agree with me that John R. Brinkley had it all?
Yeah. He's up there, man.
Yeah, he's fucking rich during the Great Depression.
Rich during the Great Depression, I would say that he's ball rich. Which, I mean, you can be rich,
Yeah.
but being ball rich,
tycoon.
ball tycoon, right? He hasn't put. The only thing that I think is wrong about this guy is that you said he never did an operation on himself.
Not a ball operation.
So what's wrong with you, dude? I would have put so many. I would basically. You ever seen those people that
Maybe he
collect?
already comes like a champion, Travis.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
Doesn't
people
need
that
it.
collect insects and
Yeah.
tack them up.
Sure.
Right? I would have gone to every continent, including Antarctica, where there's penguins, and I would have inserted balls into my scrotum
You're a sicko.
from
That
every
is
continent.
a really fun idea, actually. I like that.
Oh, let's make some Patreon content. Like
Yeah.
Let's.
I would love to
Okay,
do
so
that.
now that we know he's got it all, he has the option to put balls in his body. He decides not to, but because he's got it all. When you have it all, you put it all in a book. So he hired a poet named Clement Wood to write his life story
Okay.
entitled "Life of a Man."
Oh, that's a good
Why
name.
is that the funniest shit so far?
The book had very little
Holy
truth
fuck.
to it and drew comparisons between Brinkley and men like Galileo, Ignaz Semmelweis, the man responsible for washing hands in medicine, and even Jesus Christ.
Oh.
One passage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Jesus was tacked his whole body up on the cross. I tacked the scrote to a board before I had nuts.
So one passage
go.
worth mentioning. One passage worth mentioning is the "Where Are They Now" bit, a chapter which tells the fate of the evil men on the Kansas Medical Board shortly after they revoked this genius's license.
Bastards.
Dr.
Filthy bastards.
Dr. Jenkins was shredded to death by a locomotive.
Oh my
Dr.
God.
Hissam was he died from a broken heart after his son died in a terrible accident.
Oh,
And Dr. Ross's wife left him, and Ross himself lost his mind and was even seen full on Bill Dauterive in Lenore drag. Do you guys understand that King of the Hill
Yeah, I
reference?
do.
Yeah, he went cuckoo and dressed up in
Good.
his wife's clothing and was like, "I'm my wife."
I'm a pretty lady.
sounds like
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Sounds like he needed an extra set of
Right.
nuts.
So, of course, Brinkley stated that he was saddened by the news of these men's lives falling apart, and he wished them no ill will, but for some reason, anyone who crossed paths with this genius was doomed to some kind of terrible fate that was out of his control. Now,
Yeah.
little spoiler, these are real men, and none of that happened.
I was going to say. How hard was he fact checked?
He does not, sir. This is what makes him a real man. He's interesting to women because he doesn't need to fact check. He just says what's on his mind.
There you go.
Of course, nobody got in Brinkley's way of being rich, except perhaps Brinkley. His spending habits were insane toward the ends of his career. His mansion was a spiritual predecessor to the Neverland Ranch. 12 acres with 800 bush, an 800 bush landscape, a fountain capable of light shows, 12 Cadillacs out front just for show, exotic animals from the Galapagos, including a penguin. There you go, Travis.
Ooh.
A pool
There you
with
go.
a pool with
Yeah,
his face
penguin.
mosaicked in it 3 times. People drove from all over just to look at his house at night as it lit up like nuts.
Wait,
What?
Well, he had
like
the
actual
huge
nuts?
water fountain that I just said was capable of light shows, and he would sit there with his little organ
Bellagio.
and trigger the stuff, and people would go, "This balls."
Das Balls.
Have you guys ever? I'm surprised. You know, there was a while back. I know this is kind of dated, but they're talking about like bedazzling beards, where they like put flowers and like glitter
Yeah,
in beards.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's for very soft men who definitely need to go visit this Brinkley.
Yeah,
farm.
but what about bedazzling your nuts?
that was visiting Brinkley.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying nowadays, I mean, obviously, I wish I could put some extra balls in there. It might make it more fun and make it one of those stress balls.
Nah.
But just putting glitter down there.
You can do
I don't know,
that
dude.
anytime you want. It's not a surgical process.
It would be itchy.
I know, but
Yeah.
okay, all right. As long as we're all in agreement, that's awesome.
Yeah, glitter on your balls suck.
Shut up. Just shut up, Travis. Shut up, man. We're trying to talk about guys and how hard they get.
Dude,
not anything
we're talking
gay
about bros.
like that. That's weird, dude. Don't,
That's not even. That's not even.
there's
that.
nothing wrong
That's
with being
just
gay.
cool.
It's just
That's-
not what I don't know why you're saying that.
I'm talking about the birds. Have you ever seen birds that the male birds does a show and it gets very colorful. I think my nuts need to look as colorful as those birds to attract the female.
Wow. Well, I think you should go for it, dude. You should take pictures and send them
Hey,
to
you
all of our friends.
Go tie-dye your penis. for
Yeah,
me.
okay.
Yeah. All right. So
Dude, my shaft is very multi-tied. The tied stick, as they call
the
it.
tides turn is when you're turning upwards.
When you're looking at the bottom part of it, the tide is turned.
So
Gross.
now he has this gaudy ass mansion that's it's very tacky. The whole thing, there's so much money put into it, and it's super tacky, and everyone hates it, except they want to look at it because it's the Great Depression. So anything that's fantastic by any measurement is exciting.
Yeah, you could throw like a soup can in the street. People would wrap around the block to look at it. Like, oh, look, food.
Imagine,
That's true.
Imagine someone from the Great Depression going to a Chuck E. Cheese.
What, today? Or like 1920s Great Depression Chuck E. Cheese.
Like 1920s Great Depression.
They didn't have that back then.
Like
Travis.
there's an animatronic rat, and he's dancing for the boys and girls. Oh, I can have pizza.
Pizza! So anyway, back to Brinkley. Brinkley didn't want to spend his whole year there down in Del Rio because even though he had this fucking stupid house with terrible color coordination, it was hot in Del Rio.
I can imagine.
He's like, I don't like this. It's too much. So, over the course of the summers, he would go out and do things like fishing. In fact, over the course of 3 summers, Brinkley bought 3 yachts.
The Nina,
shit.
the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
yeah! If you have 3 yachts,
man,
there's no other acceptable name.
He's going to discover Cock Island.
Cock America.
So, he hired a crew for each one of them, made them wear little uniforms with his name on them.
Ew.
The doctor would march around the deck wearing an admiral's uniform, sword included. This is how he spent his summers, cruising the Atlantic, fishing. He actually broke the record for the biggest tuna caught in the Western Hemisphere, coming in at 788 pounds.
That's a fat boy.
Holy shit,
So
that's a fat
yeah.
fish.
Did he catch it with his dick?
Yeah, man, he's got that fucking... He's putting his own cock in as the worm.
Got that hooked cock.
And that big fish is like, man, I'm tired of those tiny worms I keep seeing. I want that big worm.
Yeah, but not big enough to scare the 780-pound fish away.
Right. So...
Dude, it's the female tuna that are going after
oh, man,
that
I gotta
worm.
put on some lipstick and eat that worm.
Ew. I hated all of that.
Is this what furries do? Is this how we go?
If I met a
become
furry
furries?
who was just like, yeah, I identify as a tuna, I'd be like, you're much cooler than those fox people
Yeah.
and shit.
You're
least you're
in your
trying.
own league. You're a scaly, not a furry.
Yeah.
That's what the movie League of Their Own is all about.
Yeah. Rosie O'Donnell playing a 788-pound tuna.
It wouldn't be too
Go,
hard.
go, go, go. Coach, go, put me in, coach. Go, I'm a catcher. So Brinkley's got all this shit going on, right? He's batting 100 right now. But
Pretty bad.
we can't forget about Fishbine. See, Fishbine's still out there. And for a while, he's focusing on taking down other quacks because he had a little victory with Brinkley.
Okay.
But in his heart, he knew that Fishbine, he knew that his own 788-pound tuna was still swimming out there in the seas of gullibility, raking in more than ever. By chance, both Fishbine and Brinkley were doing their summer vacations in Europe. Fishbine enjoying the culture of Greece, England, and Brinkley enjoying the Nazis, as he had become a huge Hitler fanboy.
Oh, there's the cherry on top.
Full circle.
Well, Fishbine and Brinkley ended up taking the same luxury liner home. The two had never met before in person because
Really?
Fishbine deliberated with his papers and stuff from Chicago. He never was at either of those hearings.
And I'm sure the conversation started. Brinkley's like, what's your name? Oh, Fishbine. Oh, okay. You ever met that guy Hitler? Kind of a cool dude. And Fishbine's like, oh,
Weird flex,
What do you-
but okay.
What are you saying? That Jews are apes? What was that?
no.
Best
Anyway.
defense ever. No!
No, I gotta believe him. So the two had never met before in person, and apparently, while on board, their 2 sons had a good time playing with each other on deck. They were just hanging out like a bunch of kids. When Brinkley found out who was aboard the ship, he went to confront him. Now, his version of confronting him was walking up to Fishbine while he was lounging, not saying a word, and storming off.
Oh.
Fishbein had noticed him, but didn't acknowledge him. And he just saw him running away and was just like, man, fuck this guy.
That's weird.
But this sparked Fishbein's interest in fucking him up again. Just seeing him there, walking up, not saying anything like a coward and walking away. So,
imagine bumping into your nemesis at the buffet of a sandals resort. That's what we're dealing with right now.
yeah, pretty much. So Brinkley wasn't thinking much about Fishbein by the time he got back to America. He was thinking about how he can make America run more like Nazi Germany. And
Great.
endorsing far-right politics and leaning into anti-Semitism in his border-blasting station. He adopted this very quickly. He even had the tiles in his pool redone to display little swastikas.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's actually still around today because the house is a historic monument in Del Rio, the tiny town with, where I'm pretty sure Del Taco is named after.
I actually went to a house. They did an open house in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm walking around this house. There's like a underground swimming pool they had. It was like really decadent. And, you know, we're walking around, and I walk outside, and all of a sudden I look down at the tiles, a little bunch of swastikas out front.
I think that was a thing. A lot of the I mean, meaning aside, the swastika is a very cool looking symbol. And when you have a bunch of racists in America who like Hitler and hate Jews, they're going to put in some tile that looks like that very pleasing symbol.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think, you know, yeah.
Yep. Hey, look, of course, nobody in their right mind likes a Nazi, but I'm just saying line work. Swastika, I wish they hadn't taken it from the Buddhists, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Jewish. Come on, get off me.
I know.
His medical business started falling apart, too, as another sham doctor opened up in Del Rio while Brinkley was on vacation. The local government didn't want to kick the new guy out, so Brinkley relocated one of his hospitals to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Now he had to do this crazy commute every other week or so between the radio station and his new place in Little Rock. There he introduced his new take-home medicine, Chemical 1020, adding it to the cost of the operation, the vasectomy we've already talked about, claiming it was an antiseptic and would help patients with recovery.
It was root beer.
This was an additional $100 on top of the already expensive surgery.
Yeah, what is it? Chemical 110?
It's called, Chemical 1020. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. As you would like to say, remember that for later. I got
Sure.
foreshadowing.
Don't worry, you foreshadow it.
Now, back in Chicago, Fishbein started working on his new piece, Modern Medical Charlatans, a two-parter that covered all of Brinkley's lies and scam work. When the piece was published, Brinkley was furious. Fishbein wanted to put everything out there and piss Brinkley off to the point where, in 1938, he would sue for libel and $200,000 in damages. Brinkley did just that. He took the bait. Brinkley thought the symbolism behind that case would help him with the mounting malpractices cases flooding the doctor's practice. So he's got all these malpractice cases. He sees this article as a chance to go, hey, world, I'm a real doctor. Like, I have enough people. I have enough witnesses. That's the one thing Brinkley never... He always had support from the people. That never wavered.
Yeah.
He had cases that did not work, but they were always severely outnumbered by those who had faith in him.
Well, here's the thing. Like, have you ever looked at the cookie of Malamar?
Oh,
what
God.
the fuck?
What?
Have you ever seriously looked at the cookie, the Malamar?
Is the Malamar a cookie? I thought it was just a chocolate-coated
I don't think I've ever
marshmallow.
eaten a Malamar.
Yeah, well, it's a cookie, and then there's a marshmallow on it. Have you thought, wow, that Malamar would look great to plump up my ball sack? Is that malpractice to think that?
No.
Or is it malpractice to do it?
Do it. That's why it's a malpractice. It's a bad thing to do.
No, because
Travis.
here's the thing: your imagination can start an empire of fucking leprechauns.
Where do we go from here, Tom?
I don't know. He had way too much to drink.
If there's like a way to appreciate the world, it's through leprechauns. And he's just trying to give you that leprechaun gold.
I don't know if this is literal. He's going for something.
Yeah.
Should
Is
we
there an
ignore
analogy?
him? Do we ignore him for 5
I mean, the
minutes? Maybe he'll
podcast is
calm
not
down?
going to do itself.
Oh, dude, you just don't understand.
All
There's
right,
so
fine.
many things involved.
Sure. All right. Cody, Mike,
Yeah.
and myself, we don't understand Travis. I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
He saw this showdown between the two of them in this lawsuit as a fight between the Christian Aryan nation and Fishbine's Jewish conspiracy.
Uh-oh.
This was the downfall of Brinkley. Brinkley hired a bunch of goofball lawyers that yesed him to death. Brinkley was absolutely confident that he was going to win this trial. By the way, it's very hard to win a libel trial because it's very hard to prove a lost damages. I mean, loss in income. He, especially since he's one of the richest men in America.
Yeah.
So he had this thing in his head since he had fooled so many people in the country that he'd be able to do the same in court. He believed that his knowledge of the law would make this easy to win. In reality, he had no understanding of the law.
Yeah.
He believed all the bogus prescriptions and tonics he was selling would be protected as trade secrets, and there's no way that the defense could use this as evidence against him. He didn't think people can just go in and look at the fucking stupid prescriptions he was putting out.
I mean, I feel like that was also Hitler's defense. These are trade secrets.
I'm making pizzas with these ovens. Shut up.
I mean, the guy's a fucking Nazi sympathizer. He's borrowing from Hitler. Trade secrets.
Oh, yeah. Trade secrets. You're right. No, you know, you're right, but shut up.
We keep our secrets in Auschwitz. Just a regular village.
Don't check on it.
Don't check on it.
Don't go there. That's where we make you pizza.
The garlic is so stinky there.
Oh,
Stay
God.
away.
Terrible. So anyway, he's like, there's no way I'm going to lose this one. I got so many people that will come with me to the courthouse and testify on my behalf. There are so many people. Del Rio, Milford. They'll love me.
Yeah.
Now, with that, he thought that Fishbine was scared of him. But Fishbine was a real man. And he wasn't really scared of him at all because he knew the law a little bit better and was like, it's a libel suit. He's not going to win this. He's basically just giving us a platform to make it public how stupid he is with a goddamn judge. So to quote Brinkley about how he felt about this whole Fishbine thing. Fishbine was so afraid of me and my wife on shipboard that every time we got near him, he ran away. The man lived in mortal fear of meeting me face to face. One day, he was sitting on deck reading a book. I stopped in front of him and gazed at him. And the man actually turned green. A Jew doesn't turn white when he's scared. He turns green when he's afraid.
Oh.
So that's kind of funny. So it says a lot about his confidence, his racism. It's just like, you know.
It's all there.
I heard that joke from my friend Goebbels.
He's a joke thief too.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that picture of that white supremacist online with the titties?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome.
That one's really funny.
Yeah, I love it.
What a chump. I mean, he's just like standing there. He's like, what was the quote? It was like the master race.
Yeah,
I-
something like that.
I like the quote I saw, which was hormone Gary.
Perfect.
I didn't write that, but I saw that and I was like, hell yeah, that's funny as fuck. Anyway, I laughed. I was like, lol, online. Lol.
Lol, heart. I hearted it. I liked it.
Brinkley had a ton of unwavering followers, mostly women who wanted to show support of making an alpha male of their beta. Thanks for making our husbands hard, they would swoon. Or something like that.
Sure.
On the first day of trial, the Del Rio courthouse was packed. Witnesses praised Brinkley's work to cross-examiners for the first half, but then things started falling apart for Brinkley.
Why is that?
Thank you for asking, Mike. His hospital employees showed that they really had no idea what was happening at the facilities. On day 2, Brinkley's lawyer brought in a line of patients that had nothing but good things to say about Brinkley, and as soon as the first patient sat down, Fishbein's lawyer objected, claiming that this federal court was much stricter than any Kansas medical board, and testimony other than expertise would open up the floodgates for endless stream of persons talking about their experience, and the fact that all the pending malpractices suits weren't allowed to be submitted as evidence because they were pending suits. It would create an unbalanced scenario, you understand.
I feel like that's been my adult life. Pending suit.
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing today, Travis? Jeans and a t-shirt?
Yeah.
Suit pending.
Still pending.
So upon the court hearing this, court was adjourned for the rest of that day. And the Honorable Judge R.J. McMillan agreed that the only cross-examination of witnesses would be that of experts.
I love when experts come in. Like the guys from the Weather Channel, they're like, guess what? We got the Doppler. We're experts.
Real feel.
Well, think about it. If they were allowed to have every single patient or person that worked with Brinkley to come in and sing his praises, they would be there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I just want to hear like what doctors have to say about this, and let's pick this apart.
Tom,
You kind of like nowadays, like I don't think you're allowed to bring in just regular old like non-direct character references anymore, because like that's labeled as like hearsay in American courts. Even if it's like someone like quasi-important.
Those are called character witnesses, and they're allowed sometimes.
I like they're allowed through like letters, I think, only like nowadays. Unless it's like some high profile
It depends on
shit.
the case. Like a murder case or something really drastic, it's fine. White collar crimes, they don't really do that shit.
all right, so if you're also trying to pass the bar, we could pass the bar for you. Here on Roast Mortem.
Oh, I forgot we're offering this service now.
Yeah, we are now.
Here's a candy bar.
Patreon.com/RoastMortemCast. You could pass the bar for only $1 a month.
Can I pass the bar?
Mike, you already passed it. That's how low we go. You don't even remember passing it, and you can.
It was that easy.
You can practice law, Mike.
Just
congratulations. You're an amazing man now.
I'll see you in court for saying that.
Oh shit!
Look at Mike, a regular old Celino and Barnes, both of them combined.
They called me smooth, Your Honor.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, regardless of our personal lawyer situation, this fucked up Brinkley's whole plan, because he was going in there like, so many people love me, I'm gonna walk right in there.
Yeah,
I know the law. He didn't know the law.
no.
But he's like, I know the law. You just bring a bunch of people to say you're a good guy, and then everyone's okay.
Perfect.
So that didn't really work out. So court continued with medical professionals undermining every practice that Brinkley exercised. His patented chemical 1020 was found to be just water and blue food dye, not only making it useless, but dangerous to inject.
Oh, it's like, so he's literally shooting up like sugarless Baja Blast into penises and thinking,
That's perfect. Yeah.
okay, there you go.
Yeah. So our friend James that came on the show for Darwin, he has an allergic reaction to blue food dye, and I allegedly took a substance that made me very hyper, and this man had a blue food dye allergic reaction. We don't really monitor blue food dye in the U.S., but they do overseas. And he was as jazzed as I was.
Wow. So you on copious amounts of cocaine were feeling the same thing that a man on blue food dye was. Wow. It's allegedly.
Allegedly, not even what you're talking about, but allegedly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's
Sure.
true, dude. That's just true. People are affected by blue food dye. Another reason that Brinkley shouldn't have used it. Anyway, Fishbine's lawyers then read depositions from Brinkley's old quack partner Crawford, who was currently in jail. Crawford had written a detailed report of all their old flimflammery. So the doctors are like, "Oh, you mean 20-something years ago, you were shooting people up with electric German medicine that was just water and food dye, and here you are today shooting up people with water and food dye? That's interesting."
I mean, he's a doctor.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Mike, I agree.
Excellent. I didn't realize that until now, Mike.
Bro, keep in mind this guy's the bro,
Gotta listen to
okay?
him.
Keep in mind he's a bro. Thank you, Mike, for pointing that out. He's a doctor.
Natural wisdom.
When Fishbine took the stand, he was questioned by Brinkley's lawyer. He was ready to go, firing off answers to questions with all the research backed up so fast that the judge had to tell him to slow the fuck down. Brinkley's lawyers then went through the entire article of modern medical charlatans, and Fishbine backed up every case made in the article about the profiteering of a quack. All the fake cure-all medicines with the unethical markups that, if by any chance were true, should have been shared with the medical community to help mankind. The carelessness of his radio diagnosis show, the crippling dead patients, and the $1 million a year salary that was well over 100
that's
times what an actual doctor made at this time.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Wow.
So
This is the 1930s. This is in the Great Depression.
So
A doctor might make $13,000 a year if they do well.
So this is like
But most of
Doctor.
them were making 7,000.
This is like Dr. Oz today, who's like,
Yeah, I
all
was
you
gonna-
have to
I was
do
gonna
is
say
just
that.
like eat blueberries, and you're gonna not have cancers, kid.
Shove kale under your eyelids.
Yeah, put antioxidants in your penis and then call it a dick. Anyway, doctors who had there was records of doctors who had treated patients of Brinkley who were basically botched at Brinkley's hospital. Like people who had really nothing wrong with them who walked in were just like, it's kind of hard to get up every now and then.
It is.
He killed those people.
Oh Jesus Christ,
He did terrible things to those people.
dude! You can always stimulate
my
the
God.
clitoris using a soft penis. Pro tip.
Pro tip, yeah, that's true, but you know,
It's the least professional tip I've ever heard.
Now I know.
Yeah.
yeah. But
Write that one down, Travis.
the important part of Fishbine's describing of Brinkley and breaking him down for what he really was defining lines between what was business and what was medicine. You understand? He's like, look at how much money this guy is fucking making. Like, people who give a shit about humanity don't do that. Like, yeah, we get it that we're figuring medicine out and some things work and some things don't. But when people are earnest about it, they share it with the community and they spend their time doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but what happened
so it's just
today
like-
then? I feel like there's so many medical people today that are like, look at Reiki people. They don't even touch anyone.
Again,
That's quackery. That's chiropractic is quackery. Basic waters, quackery. All these things, crystal healing, Reiki. That's quackery. And it's really hard to put. Firstly, you don't want a government telling you what you can and cannot do. You just don't. You want them to make sure people aren't hurting other people. Now, Reiki, yes, they're stealing people's money, but they're not even touching them.
Yeah.
So you can't tell them not to do that, you know?
It's basically like a social Darwinism, like you're too dumb to have money.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. Like, dude, whatever. If you want to charge people for a bag of shitty water and say that it's good for putting in your bathtub, but don't drink it, that's fine. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
That's called gamer pee. Gamer
But
girl
this guy's
pee.
slicing open testicles and sending people home paralyzed and shit like that. And he's claiming he can fix cancers and people are just dying in his hospitals.
Okay.
It's not like this is not like chiropractic where it's like, okay, it kind of feels good. I mean, they told me it's going to make me live forever, but it still feels good, and it still loosens me up. It had nothing, absolutely nothing. So anyway, the next day in court, Brinkley took the stand and painted the story of his life and practices in the bright light that he had been painting them in for years. He was a pro at making himself look good. He'd been doing all this radio shit. He's a personality. His own lawyer, as expected, threw him softball after softball question, PR-friendly shit. He was killing it for the jury. He was like, all right, I'm making up for all this, like, you know, these medical jargon things that we were talking
All
about.
right, so Mr. Brinkley, do you like penis? Oh, yes. Yes, sir, I do like it.
Yeah. Let me make you hard.
Mr. Brinkley, would you ever hurt a penis? No, sir, I would not hurt a penis. Mr. Brinkley, would you make a penis better? Yes, sir, I would make a penis better. Case closed.
Case closed, make my penis better. Thank you, sir.
Can I interject some Cody nerdery?
Sure.
You know what the base of testimony means? And this is just like tickling me. Like the base of testimony means like testicle promise. Because like back in like old Athens, like Greek days, like you didn't swear on like your heart or the Bible. You'd literally put your hand on your balls and be like, I promise not to lie, otherwise you can chop these off. So this man is doing a testimony for testicles right now.
What?
And I'm just tickled pink.
I love that. I love that you just nerded out on that one. That's fun and appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it.
Cody, you get an A+ this episode. Mike, you need to say a few more things before you're finished with it.
Mike gets an incomplete.
A satisfactory.
You still have time.
An S.
You still have time. Travis always gets an F. So then
F for
Fishbine's lawyer.
phallic symbol.
Yeah, phallic. F.
Hard F.
Hard F.
So then Fishbine's lawyer, Clinton Brown, went in on Dr. Brinkley. The first thing in question was his ridiculous earnings. Now, nobody made $1 million a year during the Great Depression except oil and steel tycoons. It just didn't fucking happen. Doctors weren't even close, so they're like, oh, what the fuck's going on? So Brinkley claimed instead of making $1 million,
he made 100,000.
Cody, it's this is a joke for you. He made $1,100,000.
Wow. That's great. I like this.
Yeah, so
Go ahead,
that's
make $1 million.
$1.1 million, and he just phrased it very strangely.
$1,100,000.
In fact, he refused to use the word million in court. So he kept using that phrase. They were like, so $1.1 million? And he's just like, yes, that's right, $1,100,000. And
Genius.
so now he starts looking very shitty to the jury. He was looking pretty bad when they started. They're like, "Oh, sup?" And now it's like, "Oh, now you're lying." So the violent drinking fits in the hospital, operating drunk, the fake degrees all came to light. The description of the ball slicing made the jury sick to their stomachs.
Tom, are you going to
Revenge or
disclose
why?
the real information of the episode
Yes.
now?
I am. Yes, I will tell you how it is.
I'm ready.
So, the variations of surgery were disturbing. Sometimes he'd give a man an entire goat ball. Other times he'd slice a dude's ball open and throw a few slices of goat nut into a little pocket he just made on that man's ball.
Oh my god.
There was no rhyme or reason either. It was just whatever he felt like doing. Then, question about how the goat nut was actually grafted. Brinkley said,
Yeah.
it really wasn't grafted. He just tossed it in there.
Dude, so this is if you order a Long Island iced tea at a TGI Fridays. They have no clue what they're doing. They're just dumping liquor into it. And it's going to taste terrible.
All their liquor's watered down. I know. I've tried to get drunk on their Long Island iced
It's
teas
weird. You
once,
can't
and
do
I just
it.
got a
You can't
sugar
do it.
rush.
Yeah.
I get diabetes before I get drunk.
Yeah, it's a scary way to be. So anyway, this might be one of
never
our
had one.
longest episodes. So thanks everyone who's still listening. And sorry, if you're driving, you might want to pull over and throw up. Because it's pretty disgusting thinking about an X-Acto knife going into a testicle.
Yeah, but please bring it up more.
Hot.
So no stitches to hold it in place. None so ever. Brinkley had been advertising grafting for the last 20 years in the public court. I mean, to the public. And in this court, he claims there's no grafting actually happening. Brinkley has shot himself in the foot.
Their balls are just hanging open.
Yeah.
Well, not stitching.
closed.
He stitches it back up, but like,
You just got a floaty ball in you, Mike.
yeah, he advertised
Just
that
half-assed.
he was able to take the goat testicle and in some way, like, stick it onto your body. And now he's admitting that he's just treating your ball sack like a piggy bank and just sliding it in there. And if it sticks, it sticks.
So you have a rotting goat ball in your ball sack.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not doing anything. It's just dead in there.
It just dies in there.
He made a little pocket for one too.
Yeah, I mean, well, he would, like, sometimes he would slice up, like I said, he would slice into a man's testicle to make a little shape for his
Crater.
Yeah, a little crater for him to mash some in there. But just did it for fun. He had like
it's
no
very
idea what the
thoughtful
fuck he
of
was
him.
doing.
Dude, this is
Getting
like
paid,
this is like
too.
when you're a kid and you dissect a gusher.
This is like that, but with human testicles,
Yeah.
organs.
Yeah,
Yep.
I call my scrotum a gusher.
All right, so then Clinton Brown, Fishbine's lawyer, whips out Brinkley's biography, Life of a Man.
Was he able to plead that wasn't about me? It was just a man.
No, he wasn't. As he published the book himself and didn't make anyone pay for it, he just sent it places via the mail to potential clients and stuff. So he just sent this out as a giant marketing campaign. Now, one of the first things I didn't write down in the script, but I want to cover real quick, is that in the beginning, he talks about how his life started when he went to Johns Hopkins, I think it was Johns Hopkins University, Medical University, as a 17-year-old boy, saying how I wanted to be, talking to the dean, saying how he wanted to be a doctor. And the dean was like, "No, you're a dirty boy. Get out of here." And then it jumps ahead a few years, and it's just like, and then I graduated from this place. And it turns out that he was actually in jail for the original electric injections during this time period. So that was the first hint that this wasn't going to work because they had the time frame figured out.
Oh my god.
So let me get back to what I wrote down. Maybe it's a little better, maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't read. I'm too drunk anyway. So Brinkley never read his book. He only dictated it, and we can assume while he was hammered. So Brown, he's asking him all these questions, like, do you claim to be the world's best doctor? And Brinkley goes, humbly, he tries to tone it down. He's just like, I'm a good doctor, but I assume there's much better than I out there. And Brown would show him passages that he claimed in the book that he was the best doctor and all other doctors were fucking idiots.
That's like if you ever went
Great.
back, if anyone could find I was going to say my Tumblr, my LiveJournal account. Yeah, you could probably see some things about me.
Right. So not only does this book not make any sense, and he ends up shooting himself in the foot by the lawyer asking questions, be like, "Hey, what happened in this part of your life?" And he tells a lie, and there's just like, "Well, right here in your book," none of it lined up. He didn't write that he was married the first time in his book. It was all just made up flim-flam. Technically, that's mail fraud because it's a biography. So now the United States Postal Office has a case against him.
Shit.
You lied.
Yeah, so Brinkley is fucking done at this point.
Wait, so you can't
trial
lie in your letters? You can't be like, guess what? I love you.
Not if it's a glorified advertisement.
The fuck is
Hey,
wrong
bitch,
with
I
you,
love
Travis?
you. Illegal. No. Apparently, it was seen as an advertisement because he self-published it.
Oh, boy.
And it was designed to bring people in. And also, there was a whole slew of other false advertisements that this guy brought in. This guy was writing people and harassing people. People would sign up for his letter. He would basically just bully them. saying, "Oh, you haven't shown up yet." First letter, and the next letter being like, "Well, you're pretty a disappointing person," and the next time be like, "What kind of despicable man doesn't follow through with his promises to come get his operation?" Shit like that. So anyway, he gets hit with mail fraud based on this testimony. The trial continued, and Brinkley's fucking up and tripping on his words the whole time. Eventually, the jury found that he had not been libeled and found themselves in the favor of the defendant, Fishbein. The press went mad.
Oops.
The flood of malpractice suits came fast as ever. The IRS took note of the money coming in and audited the shit out of this guy.
Dude, this
And
guy
like I
just
said,
got fucked.
Postmaster General went after him for mail fraud. So now you have a guy who was basically brought from like the most rich man in America to nothing in a matter of a month.
Fuck yes.
Wow.
Hard.
Yeah.
I am like that's
So, like
the
how
hardest I've been the entire episode. You don't need to put a goat penis loose,
Still a stud, if you ask me.
loose inside of me.
Okay, guys, I know it's been a long one, so someone asked me how he did it.
How's this idiot die?
Fantastic. Brinkley
Yeah.
was penniless now,
Oh.
having paid out everything he had to malpractice suits. His health deteriorated
Sheesh.
quickly. He had 3 heart attacks, and his
Wow.
leg had to be amputated due to that fucking hardcore alcoholic circulation.
Oh no.
Jeez.
He didn't try putting goat hearts in or goat legs in on him?
He was done. He knew he was a sham. He knew he wasn't the real man to get America hard. He knew he didn't have that Alex Jones vitality shit. He died of heart failure May 26, 1942 in
Wow.
San Antonio, Texas hospital. He was buried in Forest Hill Cemetery in Memphis, Tennessee, where he met Minnie, where his grave is vandalized on a regular basis.
Still?
Yeah, actually,
good.
there was
I
a
hope
statue
so.
of an angel on top of his thing, and that was just removed. That was just taken off by some vandals in 2013.
Wait, who is vandalizing his grave though?
There's a lot of people down south who probably know a lot more stories word of mouth on this guy. You have to remember, you're
horror
learning about this
stories,
guy
yeah.
for the first time, but this is a huge, this guy was bigger than Elvis to some people.
My grandpappy had sex with my grandmammy, and now I'm half goat.
There you go.
Yeah,
Explains
exactly.
a lot.
There was goat babies
Yeah.
out there, man. It's true.
Someone
So-
was out there with a pocket
Well,
on their testicle.
I like how you were.
That's the thing Mike's fixating on, the pocket in the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I like how you were talking
I think
about
that's
it, Cody.
insane. He's got a little like pocket protector in it for a little goat nut.
I like what you were talking about, Cody. It's like we don't need to worry about reptiles.
What?
We need to worry about goats. Goat tile.
Goat tiles? That's
tiles.
absolutely how English doesn't work.
Dude, English is fluid.
No, it's not, actually. That's a no. You know why it's not?
I mean,
because I
when
can't
you drink
say-
enough.
Because I get to make fun of you if it's not. You understand?
Dude, I'm just saying, guess what? The Vikings came in, they were like, I'm going to add a whole bunch of shouldna hoodnas. And everyone's like, my dick is so firm right now. Don't worry about it. And also, Vikings had cats, which is great. But anyway,
Vikings came over here and were like, this place is going to be soft. Let's leave.
And left.
nah.
Let's let the Spanish find this place.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, little post-mortem here. Minnie, his wife, lived in their tackily decorated mansion for the rest of her life, sticking up for her man at every chance she got until her death in 1980.
Ooh.
Oh,
Their
for a long
only
time.
son, John Richard Brinkley III, or Johnny Boy, as he would talk to him often on the radio, became an alcoholic and suicided himself in the late 70s.
Sick.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
but
That's sad.
Her
Goat testicles.
He had no idea how much of a sham his dad was until he was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
He thought his dad was like helping the world for all of his youth.
probably they were like
and
a
then all of a
superhero.
sudden this
Goat
court
ball at a time.
case comes up and he's just like, wow, my dad's embarrassing. I would drink I would have suicided earlier. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that's not embarrassing. That's such as like, hey, guess what? Your life is a lie. That's like,
Look,
that's
nobody's
worse.
perfect.
That's
Embarrassment.
different.
Nobody's perfect, but there's recordings.
Your life is a lie.
No, nobody's perfect, or all that kind of whatever you want to say, or everyone's an asshole. But his dad had made lots of recordings for him, talking about how an honest man is the only kind of man, and how if he makes $1 the wrong way or $1 million the wrong way, it's worse than making $1 the right way. And then he finds out his dad is that. So, like, really upsetting.
Okay.
Another note. Richard Linklater is currently working on a biopic about this man,
Yeah.
starring Robert Downey Jr. playing the doctor
Oh, cool.
himself. But I will have to say, we probably just fucked that whole plan up by releasing this episode, which more people
Nuke 'em.
will listen to than that stupid movie that's probably going to make Minnie really fucking hot.
Yeah, so Robert Down Syndrome Jr.
No.
Come on the show.
I would love to have him on the show.
Yeah, he'll really want to be on the show after you just called him that.
Well, we can say this: Robert Down Syndrome Jr. If you don't have a sense of humor, you won't come on the show. If you have a sense of humor and Reddit likes you and they deserve to like you, then come on the show. I'm
Good.
drunk. Sorry, guys.
Tom.
It was
Yeah,
really hard
this
reading.
has all just been a
I
plea.
got like 6 pages into this fucking pamphlet, and oof.
Tom, I had never heard about this gentleman. How did
Yeah,
you find
me
out about
neither.
him? What was your research? Like, when did you put the goat ball into your research brain?
Well, thanks for asking. So I consider myself the star of this show. So what I need to
Sure.
do every time is I go through hundreds of people and I vet them. And I vet and I vet and I vet. And sometimes I give in to like the ones that people want to hear, like Jim Morrison. Not even that good of a story, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. Just a butthole. But then every now and then I find one like this. And I stick my finger into my ass. And I ask it a question like a 8-ball, like I shake it. And if I feel a little turd,
Okay,
then I'm
okay.
doing that guy.
Yeah. All right. I feel you. I feel
Righteous.
you. We got a very
Righteous.
similar process. We're both creative minds. Everyone on the show has creative minds and creative rectums.
Yeah.
Gross.
So,
You're gross.
thank you, Tom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
And
Good
thanks for
episode.
all of our listeners. If you stuck it through, this is definitely one of our longer ones.
It's up there.
I'm in my bed with my microphone right now.
I know. I could tell. I could tell by the way your neck is bent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was our roast of Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Premium Rush. You've heard it 1st. The movie, the man. He's still alive, but he was in
The
Premium Rush.
legend.
He was. He sure as shit was. And a big shout out to our buddy Zwick for editing this one, because I'm not fucking touching it. All right. Do we have any other news behind the scenes, perhaps?
Dude, I'm all up behind the scenes right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
what do you guys
stay
take us
tuned
out?
for
I'm going to
behind
stop
the
talking
scenes.
now for the rest of the episode. Thanks for listening.
All
You
right,
guys
so
take us
if you're not subscribed to us, if you're not on patreon.com/roastmortemcast, we are coming out with so much behind the scenes content. I'm talking about a lot of
Fucking hate
behind
you
the
guys.
scenes content. Cody started it. Cody was like, guess what?
Yeah,
We're going to do
yep.
BTS. And I'm like, all right, well, we're doing BTS.
On a non-visual show,
Uh,
we're doing BTS.
and behind the scenes content is coming to a theater near you. We're going to be at Lowe's Theaters.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much our show. You could
Oh, I can't wait.
follow us on
Yeah,
all of the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the Twitters. You could touch our tips at gmail.com. You could do a lot of things with your legs. If you know how to use your legs, then use them. Cody, you got anything
good
else
at
to
this.
say? Mike, you got anything
Not-
else to say? Tom, you got anything
Not
else
after
to say?
that.
Nah.
That was perfect.
So bye.
Entirely
Thank you,
perfect.
Shane.
I can't hear one word you guys said.
You missed absolutely nothing.
I
Mike.
missed all. All right.
There's nothing.
Mike.
There's
Thank you,
nothing
Shane.
important.
Mike, did you want to know Did
It
you want to
lagged
know
me.
how first humans learned stones?
Learned stones?
They found them.
Yeah. And then guess what they did?
They found Stonehenge one day.
Yes.
They're like, oh shit,
Yeah, and guess what they did with it? They
stones.
were like, we're going to make a podcast by hitting two stones together. So thank you, Shane.
how it
Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes. Bye.
Bye.